The NBA playoffs rolled on last night as the Indiana Pacers were the first home team to take a win, taking the Knicks down 130 to 121 behind Tyrese Haliburton's historic 32 points, 12 rebounds, 15 assists, and 4 steals. He also parked cars and served hot dogs. Tonight is Game 5 in the Western Conference Finals as the T-Wolves face a must-win situation. Tip set for 7:30 right here on San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, gather around. We got stuff to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. Hot mic.
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know, man.
It's close to your
I blame the kitty big balls.
Yeah.
My headset. We'll figure it out. Hey, welcome aboard. Hey, if you haven't peeked outside or heard the rumbling, it's a damp morning. Pay attention to the weather.
Yeah, it passed through, though,
I think it went all the way. It looks like we're headed east, but low water crossings all over the city are up and
active.
It was a rather treacherous ride in this morning for those of us that were on the road about 4. So hopefully things have picked up. A lot to get into today. We're talking a lot of hoops, of course. The home team finally got a win last night. Tyrese Haliburton continues to be underappreciated. You know, he is the most underrated player in the league, the players have told us. He went out and did everything. And we'll get into the Knick loss. It wasn't a debacle. They were behind all game. They didn't get rolled, but they certainly were never really.
Nah.
I mean, they got within 4 to 6 there late, but I never was worried as a Pacer devote. See, I had money on it, so
that's why, yeah.
never really frightened me too much. Got some Spurs news. Shams Charania sat out with Pat McAfee yesterday and laid some stuff that we already know. We got some sound regarding that. College football news as the coaches and ADs from around the world are gathering to figure out what the hell to do with college sports, specifically the transfer portal. We're going to talk about that. They're trying to figure out an ideal time to have just one transfer portal. As we sit now, we've got 2. It's silly. Mike Elko spoke yesterday, said, what other professional league anywhere in the world has 2 free agency periods? Which makes perfect sense. We all know it's a problem. They know it's a problem. Maybe they'll get something figured out. We'll figure out what that answer might be. We're going to do that at 7 o'clock. I've got, Vic, what do we have to give away today?
We have, let me put it right here.
Well, you know, as we do this, I did stumble out of the gate here. I'm Rob. No AJ today. He is imminent to return tomorrow and then bounce back out, bringing his fam to San Antonio. That's Vic sitting behind the glass. We both weathered the storm to entertain you for the next 4 hours.
Yeah, we had to fight through it.
I've got a family 4-pack of Gunslinger Steamwheeler tickets to give away early in the show. We'll do that in 1 hour and 15 minutes. So just circle at 7:15. It'll probably be for the Brigade Bar.
Okay.
I think what we'll do is I'll tell people to get themselves on because they're probably sitting at home not wanting to drive in this weather.
Yeah.
And at 7:15, I'm going to write that down, Vic.
Go ahead.
Do you see that suit?
Yeah.
I'm writing it down.
Yeah.
That'd be the Steam Wheelers.
Family 4-pack, and it's for Saturday, June 7th at the Freeman.
The Steam Wheelers. I don't know
Steam
what that
Wheelers.
is. And then I've also got some tickets to a reggae band festival. A reggae band from California named Stick Figure. They're coming June the 29th to the Germania Insurance Amphitheater.
That's Live Nation's
$30
$30 ticket to summer.
And what is that?
Oh, it's something with Live
it,
Nation.
Do I get with $30? Like there's concerts coming in and it's just $30.
Yeah,
tickets.
they're basically $30 tickets to concerts all summer.
That's awesome. So we got that happening, and you don't have to even pay $30. Hang around. We'll do that in the 9 o'clock hour. Dr. Jason Garrett's going to get here. We're going to talk some injuries. Some big news regarding our big old boy, Victor Wembanyama. We'll bring that up, too, and I'll tell you what that big news is at 7:15 if you haven't already, or at 6:15 if you haven't already heard. Big news for Victor. Huge.
Uh-oh.
All right, so the drive in this morning, as everybody is embarking on their tread into work, something dawned on me as I was on the road. And this is a new thing I grew up in San Antonio, and honestly, both of my kids, both my boys, as they went through driver's ed, I paid somebody else to do it. I didn't have the nerves.
Really?
I tried with my oldest, and he came back upset, and I came back mad. So I just decided, for my peace of mind, that I'll pay somebody else to do it. So
no, I was there with my daughter.
God, you're brave, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how parents do that. I mean, I did my fair share of parking lot parallel parking. I did that part of it, but the on the road stuff, I did that once or twice, and
freaked you out.
Nah, I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I'm not.
It's scary a little bit.
I'm not a good passenger with anybody. Like AJ, for example, scares the fool out of me.
Really?
When oh my gosh.
Let's see.
I was with AJ in a minivan, and it was me, him in the front seat, and in the middle seat was the Blitz crew. Jason
this is in
Joe.
California, then, right? Okay.
And in the back seat was my son Clay and our boss.
Okay.
And AJ is decided that we needed to be where we needed to be a lot quicker than I felt like we needed to be. Doing like 95 down the 5. Just scaring the fool. Finally, the suit spoke up, like, "Hey, man, you're scared."
Yeah, I can picture him saying something.
So I'm not a good passenger, so I couldn't do that. And I'm not sure if it's taught in driver's ed now. It might be, and I could be in the wrong. But when it's driving rain, we're all in the rain, and you have your headlights on.
Yeah.
You don't need to put on your hazard lights. I can see you. And when I do see somebody driving with their hazard lights, I think one of two things. It's a driver in peril. You're in hazard, like something bad has happened, and I got to get over to the side of the road, had a flat, my motor's dead, whatever. Right. So I'm a clear room for you, because obviously you're in distress. You have your hazard lights on.
Right.
Or you're just terrified. One or the other. And neither one of them makes me want to be anywhere near you. You're a nuisance on the road. And then when you pull over a ridge or a road this morning, and I see like 15 cars all driving beside each other, all of them with their hazard lights on.
Was it a low water crossing?
It was on 410.
Okay.
So as much as there's a low water crossing anywhere on 410, and it was high water, I'm not saying it wasn't a stressful time.
Yeah.
But don't drive, and I could be wrong on this, and if I am, let me know that it's being taught in driver's ed now. But the way I was taught, you put on your hazards when you are in distress. You're on the side of the road and you've stopped. Or you're going much slower than the rest of the traffic. Look out for me.
Right.
But when 15 cars are all together with their hazard lights on, what's the freaking point? See, when you have your hazard lights on, I can't tell if your blinker's on. So you might be in distress, but at this point, I don't know. I just think,
if the hazards are on, I'm not making a left or right.
How do I know that?
Because I don't have the blinker on.
So you're going to turn your hazards off while you're terrified so you can turn on your blinker? You're going to take a hand off I would hope if you're driving with your hazard lights on, you got both hands on the wheel, 10 and 2, baby.
I turn on my hazards when the rain is so hard I cannot see no matter how fast my wipers are going.
But how does that help you?
It doesn't help me. It helps me so
it doesn't help. What I'm getting at is it doesn't help you, and it doesn't help everybody around you. Because at that point, I don't know which direction you're going to go. I don't know if you've slowed down.
Exactly. That is exactly what I want you to think.
That is not what we need. 15 cars driving down the road doing 45 in a driving rainstorm, and no one knows what anybody beside them is going to do.
I will keep doing that till
I die. That's terrifying, brother. That's terrifying. Dude, if it is so bad that you have to put your hazard lights on, get off the road.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Right.
Get
off the freaking road. Because you're more of a danger than you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Flashing.
I am not a danger.
You could be the moment you change lanes.
I don't know what you can see or can't see.
I'm telling you.
I don't.
If you see other cars.
Right.
And they don't have their hazards on when you were driving.
Exactly, but I don't know what you're seeing. And I don't know if you're going to get distracted, so the hazards
Your
will
distraction
keep you going.
with the flashing lights, it's science. Your eye is drawn to the flashing lights. So you're more of a distraction with the flashing lights.
Right, so don't hit me.
But there's 15 of you. It doesn't do you any good. In fact, you're now worse off. You've made it. You're in more.
I'll still have them on.
I don't know if I'm telling you, you're making it more dangerous for yourself. Just putting on your flag. Look at me. No, everybody, we can see you.
Yeah.
And all you are now is either in peril or terrified. So you put 15 of those cars together, all in peril or terrified.
So if
I
15
promise you there's going to be a wreck.
So if 15 cars had their hazards on, were there any wrecks? No.
I don't know that. The roads are shut down right now.
See? Because
there's a hazard. Dude, it does you no good, is my point. It doesn't do you any good.
Yes,
You put yourself. No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
You have put yourself in more danger.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you have. You are now a distraction because you're not in peril. All you are is terrified.
Okay, if I'm a distraction, that means you're going to avoid it, right? So how am I in danger? See, that's my point, is that it's letting you know that I'm there. That's all it is.
But we can see you. There's no need, and if your headlights and taillights work, I can see you. Now, if you're driving without taillights or headlights, put your hazards on. That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're pulled over to the side of the road and stopped, that's when you use your hazard lights, not when you're afraid.
Yeah.
That's just my point. I mean, it was more of a distraction, especially with the glare off of the rain on your windshield and you got flashing everywhere. Right. It's hard enough to see stuff. And then you're in the midst of 15 dudes.
That's the hazard.
You have created the hazard.
No, I didn't. The rain did. The rain created the hazard.
No, you become the hazard. The rain isn't hazardous. The rain is just rain. No, you create the hazard.
Heavy rain.
No, rain is just rain. It's not hazardous. It's how you handle the rain.
So you drive 85 down the highway in the rain?
You, at that point, have handled the rain poorly. You are the hazard. The rain ain't the hazard.
Now, I still drive with a hazard. Do you know why? Because it upsets people like you.
See, that does you, again, when that happens, you have put yourself in more peril. You are in more danger now that I am upset.
Well, I've never, ever, ever had a wreck with the hazards on.
You might not have, but who knows how many you caused?
None.
How do you know? You're just flashing on, just moving down the road.
No,
you don't know.
Because I'm driving 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, you're driving 10 miles an hour with your hazards on the highway. If you're doing that, get off the road.
Right.
You better be headed to the hospital at that point.
No, I don't agree.
You're a hazard.
If the rain is so hard that I cannot see past the headlights in front of me, and I'm on the highway,
get off the road if you're
right. And I have the hazards on to let you know that I am
terrified.
Yeah.
And don't know what I'm doing. What do y'all think? 656-3776. That's
Look,
if you want to hit it.
J-Rod agrees with me, and so does. Let's see.
Well, I would like to say that this is not an ideal sample size for me, because anybody who's responding ain't currently in the car. And if you are responding while currently in the car, put on your hazard lights because you're a hazard.
But you don't have to because it's not raining.
It has kind of slowed down. But it was brutal this morning.
If it's light rain, if it's just mediocre rain, no hazards.
Don't put on. I'm telling you, don't. No. You are not helping anybody.
Yes, I am.
You're not helping yourself. No, you're now become a target.
How?
Because
so if I have my hazards on, and you're behind me and you're bitching at me,
yes,
are you going to hit me because I have my hazards on?
No, I don't know where you're going.
Exactly, causes you to look out.
If people don't know where you're going, you're a hazard. I don't know if you're going right or left because I can't tell if you're trying to use a blinker or not.
Right, which causes caution to you to be careful. That's the point.
No, you're the hazard.
Yeah.
You don't understand. Oh, yeah, I'm fine, but you've ruined everybody else because nobody knows. And then you put 15 of you hazardous people all together, clogging the road.
Right.
Get off the road. If you're so afraid, get off the road.
Which is what I'm going to do with the hazards on.
See, if you put on your hazard lights and got off the road, I would get it. That's what I understand. But just driving down the road doing 10 miles an hour, get off the road. You're more danger than you are with your hazards on going 10 than you are anywhere else. You're in more trouble. It's anybody out there who just come off the road, you know what I'm talking about. You can use your headlights. Don't put on your brights. Just use your headlights. You're fine. And then if something goes bad, your car dies, you got to pull over, put on your hazard and get off the road. But don't drive with them on. You better be on the way to the hospital at that point. On your way to get caught. Man, you're a distraction. Anyway, talk about a distraction. Did you see sad Spike Lee last night? The home team won behind a historic performance in Tyrese Haliburton. It is all but, well, the Knicks aren't going to go down without a fight. We'll talk about what we saw last night. Look forward to a fine evening of basketball as well. And your thoughts on how should you drive to work, all coming this way. It's the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We still have this stalled 18-wheeler on I-10 eastbound Camp Bullis. It's in the right lane, I-10 westbound, the off-ramp to Camp Bullis Road. We've got some flooding. The exit ramp is closed. Also a closure due to flooding. 281 southbound Thousand Oaks on down to Brook Hollow. On 151 eastbound Westover Hills, we've got flooding in the right lane. And in Seguin, I-10 eastbound FM 775, that's a jackknife 18-wheeler that's blocking the right lane. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
George gets justice in an instant. A careless driver turns your life upside down. You're hurt. The bills pile up and work stops. At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, your consultation is free. No fees, no pressure. Just real help. Justice starts with one call. If you've been injured, it's time to get George. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
Calling all snack MVPs, it's time to huddle up with Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, the low-carb, high-protein snack with a flavor-packed crunch. From sea salt and cracked black pepper to hot honey, sweet barbecue, and more, these bold bites are ready to tackle your crunch time cravings. Find your flavor playbook at H-E-B and make every bite count. Because when it's crunch time, there's only one snack you need on your team. Southern Recipe Small Batch.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-499-9102. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-499-9102. That's 800-499-9102. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime! Oh, the brigade bar's popping, and I am in the minority. Welcome back to the Morning Huddle. Do you drive with your blinkers on in the rain?
No, hazards.
Or blinkers, hazards. Both blinkers, front and back.
If I can't see in front of me, then you can't see me.
I can see you.
No, but I can't see in front of me,
Just
and I can't see behind me.
because you can doesn't mean my headlights aren't better. You have reflective stuff on you as well. That when my headlights hit you, whether you have your lights on or not,
I don't know that 100%.
You should. You see other cars.
What if your windshield's dirty? What if your wipers broke? I don't know that. And then when it's raining like this and you can't see like 5 feet in front of you, I put on the hazards to make sure that people can see me. That's all.
Trust me, people can see you. You become more of a hazard when you are flashing. I think you're in trouble. Yeah. Everybody thinks you're in trouble. Then we have hazard when there is none.
If it's raining like that and there's 5 or 6 people with hazards on, we're all not in trouble. We just can't see.
Then get off the road.
How can we? We're on the highway.
There's exits. You are a hazard when you do this.
Okay, but before the exit, what do we do?
Get off the road. Use your blinker, blinker to change lanes and get off the highway. But driving with your hazards.
I already did that, and I'm on the far right lane ready to exit. But before that, and I still can't see in front of me. It's going real hard. Oh, my God.
That doesn't help you see anything. In fact, I think it makes it worse. Yeah. The glare off of the blinker, it makes it worse.
The glare off the
when you
blinker.
see the flasher in front of you and it's glaring off your windshield, it makes it worse. It makes it worse. Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
It makes you see me. You know why?
I already see you. And at this point, I don't know what you're going to do because you're driving like you're either terrified or something terrible has happened.
It causes you to use caution instead of just assuming you're going to do something.
See, that makes everybody else. You cause problems for everybody else when you do this.
So what problem am I causing you?
We all have to slow down for some apparent danger that does not exist.
The rain is hitting so hard?
No, that's you that has the problem, not me. That's you.
So if the rain is hitting
so hard...
Get
off the road. If you think that,
so the rain's not hitting
your car?
It's so
dangerous that I got to put on my hazards and drive 10 miles an hour, you better be going to the hospital. If not, get off the road. Yeah. Or turn your hazards off.
Yeah. See, look, Rob is wrong. I'm with Vic. How many I'm with Vics around?
And again, I will point out, is this taught in driver's ed? Now, it's been a long time since I went through. I didn't teach my kids.
To be honest,
I say this with a caveat. I don't know if it's taught.
To me, it's common sense.
It's not common sense.
Yes,
this you're more of a danger. So if you have 25 cars all driving together with their hazards on, you think that's a better thing?
No, it's a funeral.
Yes, exactly. It's a funeral in the most literal sense.
Yeah. That is a funeral.
Turn off your hazards, drive safely, and turn on your hazards when you're in danger, or that's it. That's why they're called hazards.
Yeah.
And if you have to drive with them on, you feel so in hazard, you better be on your way to the hospital.
But I'm not driving 50 miles an hour. I'm driving 10 miles an hour because the rain is so hard.
You're on the freaking highway. Get off.
Yeah.
Just because you can only do 10 doesn't mean other cars can't go faster.
I will continue to do that.
See, you're the hazard.
Nope.
Get off the road.
Nope.
Stay home.
Nope. Well, I already do that. I don't go anywhere unless I have to. But if I do have to,
right.
I am, and I told my kids that too.
I'm in the minority, but I'm right.
Yeah.
I'm right. Unless someone can show me some kind of new driver's statute that says, in the driving rain, if you're unsure, put on your hazards. I think you're in the wrong. Whether you think you are or not, I think. And
even
you know
if
what? We got a lot of police, a lot of cops.
Yeah.
Somebody reach out. A traffic officer, sheriff.
Now, mind you, this is only only if the rain is falling so hard you can't see in front of you. That is the only time. But if it's light rain, if it's just raining whatever and you can still see, no hazards. Only if it's coming down so hard you really can't see, you're like, okay, let me get off the road here, and you're trying to and you can't. I put on my hazards saying that, hey, I freaking can't move here.
Because I consider other people's opinion, I will agree with you on this point. If you feel the need to put on your hazards, leave them on, but exit the road.
Right.
The moment you pass an exit, you better be on the way to the hospital.
Or you're late for work.
Sorry, that doesn't count. Life or death situations. I will give you that caveat. I will agree with that. But the moment you feel so in danger that you got to put on your hazards, get off the road. And I will give you till the next exit, but get off. The fewer blinking lights in the driving rain, the better off we all are. Just sticking with that.
Yeah.
And my views might be unpopular, and yes, I'm old. And most of the time, I'm grumpy.
Oh, yeah, on the Brigade Bar. Fog is another reason, but I never drive in fog.
Fog's another thing. Just don't put your brights on. But now the fog and the flashing lights, I might agree. That might be a more appropriate use because that will give you something through the distance. But even remember, most cars that are up to code have reflectors on their car built in. Even if you don't even have your lights on, I'm going to see you.
Right.
But if you don't have lights, yes, all the time, put them on. If your tail lights are out or your front headlights out, put on your hazards. That's what they're there for. Right? And if there's a cop out there, let me know. Let's Brian on the Brigade Bar. I'm not even going to bring my wife's driving into this.
What?
My wife is. I have my own contention.
That's a whole other.
That's a whole other thing. My wife is the person that does 68 in the far left lane, and because she's speeding, she doesn't feel like she needs to get out of the way. She's that person.
Oh, she's got ticket money.
Oh, no. She'll never really speed, but if she is speeding, no matter what lane she's in, she feels like because she's speeding, you have to go around her. She doesn't have to get out of the way. So she'll be in the left lane driving like we've gone back and forth to Dallas 10,000 times.
So she's on the fast lane.
I'll be asleep in the passenger seat, and I'll wake up, and I'll look over to the side, and there'll be people furious with my wife, like furious, doing 77 in the left lane and a 75. Jeez. And she's like, well, I'm already speeding. If they want to speed faster, they got to go around me. So what my wife does not fall into this conversation, and what I do has nothing to do with the way my wife
I've passed up people in the fast lane before.
I don't like if you're sitting in the left lane, get out. If people are on your tail, I don't care how fast you're going. Somebody wants to go faster, get out.
Yeah, move out of the way.
Get out of the way.
And I'll pass somebody in the fast lane and then just kind of zip in front of them and keep going.
But I tell you, you're more of a hazard with your hazards flashing than you are without.
But I would not be driving 85 with the hazards flashing in the rain.
And Jeff G's right. What's the reason? Because you feel like people can't see you. People can see you. Trust us. We all drive.
If I can't see you, you can't see me.
See, that's wrong.
No, that
You're
is not
causing
wrong.
a problem.
No, it's not.
Just because you can't see it, you got bad whatever eyesight.
I have 20/10 vision. I cannot see you. The rain is so hard that I cannot see the car in front of me. That is when I use my hazards. That's it.
And you should be getting off the road. At that moment, the hazards come on. Right. That's telling everybody, I'm leaving the road right now.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, well, that's what they're there for.
Nope.
That's why that tells everybody I'm either leaving or I'm stuck on the side of the road.
I am going very slow on the highway at this point. Now, if the rain is so hard, it'll probably pass.
Well, you don't know that.
But that's my point. I don't. You
get
don't
off the
know
road.
That.
Get off the. If you have to turn your hazard on, get off the road, you better be on your way to the hospital.
No, I disagree.
I can tell you, you're in the majority. I'm in the minority on this. I have been called angry and old many times this morning.
If I can't see in front of me, that's when I do it. That's it. It's that simple. If I can see in front of me, at least 2 or 3 cars ahead of me, I don't need the hazards.
I agree. You don't need the hazards.
I don't.
No one does.
If I can't see, it's like, shoot, everybody needs to know where I'm at. I don't want to get hit because there's people like you that don't consider that. They're just going to go and they don't see me. What if I don't have my hazards on? What if my brake lights go out because of the water? I don't know.
Get off the road.
How do I do that if I can't see?
Use your blinker, not your hazards. Get
Yeah.
to the right lane and take the very next exit. That's what you do. You don't drive past exits and you don't do 10 miles an hour on the highway.
How many times have
just
you
because
driven and a storm is coming up and people are parked under the highway?
And when you're on the side of the road, you
Yeah.
put on your hazards.
Right.
That's why. That's what you do.
But on the way to the side of the road, you put on the hazards.
You put your blinker on, get to the side of the road, and then you put on your hazards. Because if you have your hazards on and you
Right.
change lanes, I can't tell if you're going to change lanes.
Right.
It's just flashing lights.
Exactly.
You are a danger at that point.
No.
You are the hazard
I
at
am
that
not the
point.
danger.
Yes,
Nope.
because you're going to change lanes without giving any notification of which way you're going to go.
Exactly.
You are the hazard.
I am causing caution for you
No,
to
you're
talk.
you're the hazard, not
I'm
the
not.
caution. What are you talking about?
How am
so
I
you
the
just
hazard?
suddenly change lanes without me knowing, and you're good. You're good with that because I should back off and stay away from me because I'm terrified.
Right. When I have the hazards on, you're not right behind me. Is my point. If the hazards are on,
See, you're
there's
causing the problem is what you don't realize. People behind you are slamming on brakes and coming around the corner because they don't know what the hell you're going to do. And then you put 15 of people with, and no one knows which lane to be in.
Right.
You're more of the hazard than you are the fix.
This is only the slow lane, hazards on, can't see in front of me. Once the rain dies down, I take the hazards off and I continue on my way. It's so simple.
The simple thing is get off the road if you feel you need to use the hazard.
Okay, so
Unless
if I've done
you're
that,
going to the hospital.
So how many accidents have I been in doing that?
But it's not so much you. It's the accidents that you have caused that you don't know you even caused because people see the hazard, whoa, and they'll slam on their brakes when there was no peril. You were just terrified.
That's weird.
I mean, just say we don't know what accidents we cause when we keep going, and you don't know that.
Well, you don't know either.
No, and you might have an unblemished record, but somebody who does that, you're causing more of a problem than you're solving because no one has any idea. We all work under the assumption that you're going to do the safest thing possible. But when you come into the hazards, I don't know what's going on. Are you stopping completely? Are you moving from right lane to left?
Right.
I don't know. And that
Right.
causes the hazard.
And it causes you to watch out instead of assume.
I'm already watching out. It's driving rain. You're telling me when you put your hazard lights, you're about to do something, and you don't do anything. So we all just sit and wait. But there's 15 of us all
So if I'm on
sitting
the
and
far,
waiting.
if I'm on the
you're
far,
causing more of a hazard.
If I'm on the far left lane, and there is something wrong with my car, let's say there is, and I'm trying to get to
Put
the
on your hazards, get off the
far-
road.
Right. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No,
But
turn
you're
off your hazards, put on your blinker, and change lanes. Because if you go from the left lane all the way across with just flashing lights, you're the hazard. You are the problem.
Yeah.
You're just changing lanes. It's the equivalent of changing lanes without a blinker. At that point, turn off your hazards and exit the highway. Use your blinker. I know you're going right. I know you're going left. Flashing both sides, I don't know where you're going, and you're just going wherever you want. You're the hazard.
Nah, I'm not a hazard. I'm letting you know I'm there.
Yeah, we all know. We can, but the thing is, we can see you. You've already been seen. You're not any better off. You're just making things worse. And we have brake lights too, people. When you put on your brakes, I can see that you've put on your brakes. Just like the Knicks did last night. Last night, the Knicks fall. Their backs are against the wall. We'll see if they can figure things out. OKC in a pretty good spot as well. More hoops and college football coming. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We still have this stalled 18-wheeler on I-10 eastbound Camp Bullis. It's in the right lane, I-10 westbound, the off-ramp to Camp Bullis Road. We've got some flooding. The exit ramp is closed. Also a closure due to flooding. 281 southbound Thousand Oaks on down to Brook Hollow. On 151 eastbound Westover Hills, we've got flooding in the right lane. And in Seguin, I-10 eastbound FM 775, that's a jackknife 18-wheeler that's blocking the right lane. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code RADIO for an extra 5% off.
Celebrate youth sports with the San Antonio Brahmas. The Herd returns to the Alamo Dome Sunday, June 1st to take on the Arlington Renegades in their final home game of the season. Celebrate the future of sports as they highlight young athletes, players, and coaches in their Celebrate Youth Sports game. Bring the family and enjoy the fun with local community mascots, a halftime youth flag football showcase, and of course, Brahmas football. Get your tickets at UFLBrahmas.com. That's UFLBrahmas.com. Our town, our team, our Herd.
Morning, sir. I stopped you for a seatbelt violation.
But, officer, I was going 2 blocks.
Most crashes happen close to home. Any more excuses?
Okay, I forgot.
Save the excuses and up to $200 in fines. Click it or ticket, day and night. A message from TxDOT.
Hey guys, are you or your spouse looking to lose weight in time for summer? Head over to any Synergenics or Low T Center for prescription weight loss treatment options. If you qualify for treatment, you can get a free B12 shot when you start. Offer limited. Book now at fixmylowt.com.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
April Ansira here from the Ansira Auto Group. Every year, the Texas Yes Project provides thousands of students across the state with free school supplies. And now you can help by entering the Drive Away for Education raffle, proudly sponsored by the Ansira Auto Group. One lucky winner will drive away in a brand new car, truck, or SUV, and countless young Texans will move forward with stronger futures. And we'll be giving away a gas card and shopping spree, plus other weekly prizes. Buy your raffle ticket today at texasyesproject.org.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
This is Jason Minix from The Blitz. You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, mind them brake lights will get you where you're going. That's Vic over there. I'm Rob over here. AJ is out there. He'll be in here back tomorrow.
Yeah, I think tomorrow.
The Ramones. Remember when they were rough and ready? Everybody thought they were scary. This is bubblegum rock.
Yeah.
Hey, last night the Pacers almost put an exclamation point onto the end of the Eastern Conference Finals. They're just about done. And they did it in a very Indiana kind of way, turning the ball over, quick layups, and then there was Tyrese Haliburton. What a phenomenal night he had. One of those legendary evenings that will mark this long-time rivalry between the Pacers and Knicks. And he just put himself along the Reggie Millers of the world. This is Tyrese talking about what went down last night.
I feel like we making up stats at some point to make me look better. But I think I'm just trying to play the right way, man. I just want to impact winning. Told you guys that for the last 2 years. I think after my third year and getting the big contract and now having to step into a new role, I think for me it was about how can I impact winning. And I'm just trying to do that to the best of my ability. We're building something special here. We're having a lot of fun with what we're doing. And, I feel like I'm at the forefront of that along with a lot of these guys. So I'm just trying to play the right way and play the best of my ability. That's what it's about, and I feel like I did a good job today. But, man, I feel like there's so many different opportunities for me to get better and for us as a group to get better and play better. So we'll take what we can from this game and just be ready to go for Game 5.
Tyrese had 32 points, 12 rebounds, 15 assists, and 4 steals, and didn't commit a single turnover. That is a ridiculous number. Only guys like Oscar Robertson and Nikola Jokic can even pretend to come close to that. Both of them had 30-point games themselves. He's the first player since individual turnovers were even tracked in 77-78 to have 30, 15, and 0 turnovers in a playoff game. It's the second career playoff triple-double. He did that last year against the Bucks. He's the first player in Pacers history with multiple such performances. Oladipo, back in the day, Paul George, and Mark Jackson from the Where They Now file all have one triple-double each. He was absolutely spectacular, and it was in the flow of the game, but he kind of separated himself. It was one of those kind of games you get when you're at home. The rest of the team wasn't particularly spectacular, but they feasted on turnovers and got what they needed to get done pretty quickly. They set the pace. It never got ugly. It never got really out of hand, but I can tell you it felt out of hand. It just felt like the Knicks were hoping to just maintain and get home and let's get a win and hope we can just keep pushing this thing. But it was very apparent that when Indiana is on their game, or at least one of their dudes is above and beyond their game, that they're more than a match for the Knicks. That doesn't mean the Knicks aren't going to go down without a fight. I don't think they're going to get eliminated at home. I think they're going to take it at home when they go back. That's just because this is a good basketball team. I don't expect them to have to deal with to lose it in front of Spike Lee and all those Knicks fans. I think that they're going to fight back tough. But to get it done, it's going to take the kind of effort that Indiana offered. And what Indiana did, listen to Rick Carlisle. It's all about the team and not the stat.
Really tired about talking about individual stats this time of year. It's just not, it just flies in the face of what's necessary. I had a radio show this morning and somebody asked me about Ben Matherin's numbers. This is a team game. It's not about the numbers. It's about being ready. And a lot of times defining plays in the playoffs have nothing to do with statistical things. They're loose ball plays. They're charges taken, stuff like that. Celebrate that. Talk about that. Those are the kinds of things that are truly important. So, look, Tyrese is a great player, and I think people realize that. He happens to do some very impressive statistical things, but he's well aware that all of this far transcends statistics.
We'll talk about what he had to say and the rest of the Pacers organization next. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Bundle Deal Days at AutoZone.
Well, I do need a bundle of things.
When you bundle, you save.
Do I save if I bundle oil with an oil filter?
Save up to $12 on that bundle.
What about brake pads and rotors?
Bundle those and the brake pads are free.
Can't save more than free.
You can save on hundreds of deals during Bundle Deal Days. Ends June 2nd at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Duralast brake pads only.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Transform your water with Connecticut. For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station, $400 off with a trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Don't wait. The offer ends soon. Call Connecticut today. There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-499-9102. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-499-9102. That's 800-499-9102. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Right now, get a $15 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro refrigerant products at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Morning, everybody. It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. That's Vic Brown over there. You can tell it's him. His hazards are on. I'm Rob.
Yeah.
I just looked outside. It's a beautiful morning.
Yeah. Rain passed.
Blue sky.
No need for hazards.
No, none at all. No need for hazards at all. For those of us who stayed up and saw the end of the game, it wasn't done late, but I act like it was.
I only watched till halftime.
No, it's been the game's appropriate, done by about 10:15. For those that listened yesterday, and I've been kind of on this, the New York Knicks go as Mikal Bridges goes. It's not about now. Certainly, Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, they matter. They're the most important two guys on their team. But when the Knicks win and when the Knicks play well, it's more than just those two dudes. It's also Mikal Bridges. But unfortunately, Mikal Bridges has been tasked with stopping Tyrese Haliburton. and he's spending too much time on one subject. The problem with the Knicks offensively is they just can't find themselves a rhythm from the others. And when I watch the way that Mikal Bridges is playing, 6 for 15 from the floor. Now, he had some nice shots, 4 or 5 from 3. But the consistent effort from Mikal is going to make the difference for the Knicks. And last night, it just wasn't there. Tibbs talked about, with his roster, what went wrong last night.
Yeah, I think it was probably a compilation of things. Yeah, the first quarter was problematic. That set the tone for the game, giving up 43 points. And then you turn it over against them, particularly the live ball turnovers. You're fueling, transition game. And we started slowly, and then we fought back, but we didn't close the half well. The last minute and a half wasn't good. Then we started the third slow, and then we fought to come back, but we kept digging out of holes.
They kept digging out of holes. The game was never more than 10. They made timely shots when appropriate, but turnovers continued to bug them. They just, when it completely mattered, when they had to control pace and ball and everything that goes into playoff wins, they just didn't have it. And it wasn't like it was a terrible night. 17 turnovers is survivable if you're scoring on the other side, but they weren't. Tibbs talked about Bridges and the issues he's having with Haliburton.
Haliburton's a great player. You don't guard great players in this league individually. It's your entire team. And if one guy's not doing their job, everyone's going to look bad. And there's a combination of things, whether we're talking defensive transition, isolation game, pick and roll game, whatever it might be. It's everyone being tied together and moving in unison and reading the ball correctly and making the right reads. And so he got off to a good start. And it's hard when great players get confidence early. It's hard to slow them down.
That's Tibbs on the postgame last night and what went wrong with the Pacers. And that end of that is the most important part. It's once they get moving, the Pacers, it's very hard to slow them down. And the more you feed that bulldog with unforced turnovers and dead ball turnovers, which would just kill you, it just makes it that much more difficult. And if you're not shooting very well, you're just not going to beat a team like the Pacers. Now, I'll say this. I thought the Pacers might have a puncher's chance against Oklahoma City because they do match up a whole lot better than Minnesota does with what the Thunder are trying to do. But there is just something about the Pacers that continues to nag at me. They're a very good team, very good. Mm-hmm. But there's something in the mix that I still feel like they're missing. And maybe that can be coached around. Maybe it can be hidden by the greatness that Rick Carlisle is. But there's something in this manpower that is just not quite there. And I think I know what it is. I think I have a vague idea. And I don't like the answer. Because the answer is a guy, as a Spurs fan, I kind of covet. As a guy from Texas that I kind of know. But I look at if the Pacers are going to do this, and we're going to turn this Haliburton story into one for the ages. It's going to take something that I don't know if the Pacers have on their roster. And we'll talk about what that is at 7:15. Because I'm looking at this roster and I go, the turnovers and the offense, and I watch the way that Nembhard and Haliburton play together and the threat that Naismith is in 3 different ways. And the way that Benedict Mathurin is this, along with Aaron Naismith, these athletic beasts that can guard 3 and hit a 3 at the same time. They've got all the little pieces I think that Oklahoma City needs. I think they've got it all in the pot, and I think they've got a coach that can get enough together. But when I watch Oklahoma City and this relentless, never-ending pressure that they're able to apply, not to just one dude, but to several dudes at once. And it doesn't matter if you switch on threes or switch on high picks. The dude on you is probably a better defender than the one you just shook. And I look at the offensive skill that Indiana has and the ball handlers, it looks like it might be enough. But, man, I think there's something in the mix for the Pacers. If you're a Pacers believer, that I'm just not sure they've got that mix. 7:15, I'll tell you what it is. On the other side, college football is trying to figure out the mess that is the transfer portal, and I don't know what the answer is. I just know that the fix has to be imminent. Big Ten's got an idea. I'll tell you what the Big Ten's going to do. We'll see if the other ADs in the SEC follow. College football just around the bend as it always is. That's next. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on San Antonio Sports Star.
The Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM, Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code RADIO for an extra 5% off.
You've decided to divorce. I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you're worried about getting the bills paid, childcare, and your divorce, we'll help make it simple, painless, and affordable.
Your future matters. Call the law office of Steve Benke.
Call 210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Hey, San Antonio, multiple tours overseas, years of protecting the country. It all adds up at University of Maryland Global Campus. Earn up to 90 credits for prior learning, military experience, and training toward our low-cost degree and certificate programs. We call that credit where credit is due. For over 75 years, our dedicated success coaches have been helping service members achieve their goals. Get started with local support and online and hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATX.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC, used with permission.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check for your wallet first, before hitting the drive-thru.
$6. Sorry, forgot my wallet. I have change, though. Here's 40 cents, another 40. Ooh, a bicentennial.
What's that?
Oh, gosh.
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Progressive has great customer service, and it's easy to reach us because great and easy is the way to be. Like salads. Great for you, and so easy you can put any group of veggies in a bowl, and it's a salad. A full carrot with a head of cabbage? Weird, but still a salad. One radish and a couple of green beans? Also a salad. 14 blueberries, half an onion, and a sunchoke? Odd, yes, but an odd salad. So contact Progressive's customer service by phone, app, or online. It's great and easy, just like salad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins! Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. Jason Minix here from San Antonio Sports Star. You can do that with Orchard. Orchard puts cash into your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday 1. Then you buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday 2. Learn how you can make more with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. It's been a very busy morning rush hour early. I-10 westbound Wurzbach got a brand new accident here with 2 left lanes blocked. Just occurred, so a little bit of stop and go from 410 for now. 410 northbound Houston Street wreck in the left lane. I-10 eastbound FM 1518, that wreck is taking up your right lane. On 35 northbound, the connector to get onto 410, we've got an accident. That connector ramp is blocked. And on I-10 eastbound, Camp Bull is stalled 18-wheeler with 2 right lanes blocked. And then on the westbound side, that off-ramp to Camp Bull, the exit ramp is closed due to flooding in the area. 1604 westbound, 35 to look at. We've got some high water reported on the roadway, and the water is receding on 281 southbound Thousand Oaks to Brook Hollow. Only the left lane open. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
The NBA playoffs rolled on last night as the Indiana Pacers were the first home team to take a win, taking the Knicks down 130-121 behind Tyrese Haliburton's historic 32 points, 12 rebounds, 15 assists, and 4 steals. He also parked cars and served hot dogs. Tonight is Game 5 in the Western Conference Finals as the T-Wolves face a must-win situation. Tip set for 7:30 right here on San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center brought to you by Synergenics. Book your appointment at FixMyLowTeam.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, gather around. We got a bunch to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle. Glad you're with us here on San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Rob Thompson. No AJ today, though, in his stead. For those of you on your YouTube feed, our Brigade Bar folks. Kitty Big Balls sitting comfortably
there he is.
In AJ's place. We'll carry it on till he arrives yet again tomorrow. How we doing, Kitty? Doing all right? Went by and saw his
yeah.
brother Blueberry yesterday. Blueberry's ready for AJ to return home as well. We're talking a lot of basketball today. In about 15 minutes, I'll tell you why Indiana don't nearly have a prayer as we might think they do, the kind of prayer they hope they have. They don't got if they get to the Oklahoma City Thunders in the finals. But first, the college football world, it's always just around the corner, right? We're under 100 days until our first college football game. But we're talking about the most important part of college football, that precious pipeline of talent that feeds this beast. Mm-hmm. And over the last couple of years, the transfer portal, while being the great equalizer, the knife that spreads the mayonnaise even, if you don't play, you leave, coaches are pulling their hair out. It's awful. It really is. Can you imagine trying to come into a football season? And you don't even know if your 11 starters, if they're happy that you've got a couple of transfer portals in front of you after the season was done, and you could very well lose 2-3 dudes beforehand. And at the same time, you got to be out there looking for those dudes that might want to come and see you, all while trying to keep your all while keeping your young freshmen that are just showing up happy and keeping the payroll even and all the things that go into big-time college football. Well, Greg Sankey, we all know who he is. He is. If he's not the most important dude in college football, he's in the top 3. He talked about potential changes coming down the college football landscape.
Look at a track record. We didn't need 12. Had we stayed at 4, we would have had half the 4 last year. I don't need lectures from others about good of the game. I don't lecture others about good of the game. And coordinating press releases about good of the game. Again, okay, you can issue your press statement, but I'm actually looking for ideas to move us forward.
That was Greg Sankey. Now, this was in response. See, right now, as the ADs and the conferences are gathering, trying to figure out how to fix this mess, we've got a bit of a measuring contest. It's the Big Ten and the SEC and everybody else. That's really, the Big Ten and the SEC, they decide it's lead, follow, or get out of the way at that point. And Sankey's just kind of sick and tired of dealing with the lesser conferences who feel like they need to be a part of it. In his mind, as he's worked hard to save the ACC and the Big 12, to keep them as viable parts of all things, he feels like there's other conferences that are in the way. I don't know what the fix is as the coaches gather together, but I think what we need to do, we've got a couple of issues. We've got the playoff, which that's about us, and that's at the end of the season. When I say us, the playoff is about the fans and the gravy at the end of the year. That's one thing. And it should be the last thing we're worried about because it affects the fewest number of schools directly. And it has but it also financial ramifications are making there do affect every conference. So every conference should have access to that. So the decisions we make should help these conferences be their very best to support their individual teams to make it to the playoffs. So let's make those decisions in bite-sized forms. And I think the first thing that college sports have to fix isn't even the money. The money, there's been professional franchises forever. They figured out how to pay people. We'll figure this out, whether the colleges and how we manage them as employees and NILs. That's kind of peripheral. That's icing on the cake. We just got to worry about the cake right now. And the cake's primary problem is the talent fluidity, the mobility of talent, the ability for players to just uproot and leave really without much measure, and it can do it a couple of times a year. So let's figure out the first bite to fix, and that's the transfer portal. We can't have two transfer portals. We can't do it twice. We can't do it in December and then do it again in April. We can only have one. We can all agree that it's silly to have two transfer portals. I'm all about mobility. I'm all about players going where they can play. I'm also all about players going and getting paid. I think I'm all for it. I don't think they get paid enough. And I think they should be taken care of more than they are when we look at the dollars that are going on behind their back. But I am about limiting the opportunity to move. Just like every other professional sports, there is a time frame that is set aside for movement. And in this time, do what you got to do, but there has to be a beginning and an end. So if we can decide there's just one, that's one bite of the apple, right? And I think we can all agree one's good. But when should it be? When would we want that? Would it be directly after the season? Like, season's done, championship game is over, 3 days later we got 2 weeks of transfer? Right after the season? Do we wait until season is done, incoming new freshmen arrive? We now have those early arrivals that grad early from high school and show up mid-season of their senior year or what would be the beginning of their freshman year, so they can be ready to play as rank freshmen. So maybe that we wait for that to occur and then we have the transfer portal? Or do we let them go through all the practices and all the spring stuff, and then once those practices are set and done, and we'd have to schedule that for everybody, you'd have to have a spring training practice schedule that everybody abides by from east to west, north to south, that from this date to this date, you can all practice and we can figure out our 1s, 2s, and 3s. So those 2s and 3s and 4s can decide if they want to stay or not. Maybe that's the best answer. That's my answer. That's my belief. I know Kirby Smart would like to do it right right after the championship game, or actually in January. Do it in January, the moment the incoming freshmen are able to come on campus. is also transfer portal time. That's what Kirby wants. Now, I, on the other hand, think let the freshmen arrive, let them practice with their teams, let's see what's going to happen. And if those guys that are already there find out that they don't have what they need or they're not getting paid with it, whatever the case may be, at least they're going to make an informed decision at some point in early May and let them go. But just one. I don't think I'm arguing something that's crazy. I don't think anybody's anti this. Unless you're a player. And unless you're a college kid who wants to have freedom of movement that everybody else has, I get their argument. But the fact is, there's too much that goes into putting together teams and rosters. And I'll take it even further. TV schedules. Players matter as far as who's going to get the 3 o'clock game as opposed to the noon or the 9. It matters. So TVs needs to know who's on this team. Now, you can't abide for everything. You can't plan for injuries. But you can plan knowing these teams are stocked or unstocked according to the transfer portal. So the sooner we find that out, the easier it'll make the schedules. But we know we got to do this. We know we've got to fix this. Because if we don't fix this, every other problem compounds. There's a lot of schools that love this chaos. There's a lot of coaches out there that are perfectly happy with the ability to go get players on a dime. There's coaches that are good at it. And I get the mid schools, the idea of one more chance, one more opportunity right at the end of the semester, a second free agency period, just one more chance. So some of those blue bloods, when a push comes to shove and that quarterback finds out he's third on the rotation instead of second, maybe I'll get myself a quarterback just in time for next year. I get some of those coaches that like that. I do. I understand it. And there's a ripple effect. There's a domino effect. D1 blue chipper moves, the ripple effect all the way down the road, all the way down to non-scholarship athlete at NAI school as quarterbacks are power position players shift states and shift status. I get if I'm a mid-level coach, I want to see a transfer in June. I want to see a guy show up like anybody I could have recruited, but this was the only place that he could find, and he can play better than anybody I could have got. I'm all about that. I'm almost to the point where I'd rather do that than be afraid of my guys leaving. There's some coaches out there that get it or understand how to work in this chaotic environment. They're not going to say it out loud. And if they're comfortable with this situation, and there's plenty of them that are, they probably got a pretty good bank account and a couple of really good alumni that are more than willing to pony up the funds to make this transfer portal really easy to some of these mid-level schools. But sadly, those aren't the guys that fry the bacon. I think we need to first get it nailed to one position, one date. Just maybe it's the last spring game. I don't care if you play spring games. That's up to the coaches. But we should have a calendar date that the entire country, at least the Power 5 conferences, are all practicing within this 3-week period. At the end of the 3 weeks, you can decide to have an alumni game, a flag football game, a powder puff game. I don't care. But on that following Tuesday, when players know their stance, they're free to go if they'd like. And give them a week, give them 2 weeks, whatever it might be, but then you lock it down again. And that's it. It's far better than it was way back when I was in school. The 1-year renewable scholarship that was held tight and fisted until they actually gave it to you. It was held over your head. It's a whole lot different now. But it's hard to kind of figure out where to stop. That's why we got where we got. But I think most people of like mind can agree one period works. Mike Elko said, how many professional organizations, sports leagues have 2 free agency periods? None. But we've allowed this to happen. But the grander problem is you start talking this and then you start getting the whatabouts. And what about that? And what about this? You can't do it. You have to take one bite of apple at a time. And right now, the easiest answer, the place to start that you can affect, that everybody can agree with, is the transfer portal is an anchor. It's slowing things down because there's uncertainty, and nobody wants that unless you're the school that thrives in chaos. So you just sit quietly back and reap the benefits of a player or two that falls through the cracks that you get. But for the most part, they have no say. And I would like to think over the next week or so we can come to a date. And then once we get that fixed, then we can start digging into the stuff that really kind of bothers people. How they're paid, when they're paid, who's paying them. Bennies, health insurance, all those other big-time real-world problems that do need to be addressed while we address the most basic of how do we get and keep our players. That's all we got to do. What do you think? Continue to reach out on the Brigade Bar. You got something to say, it's easy. 656-3776 gets you a direct line to Victor Brown, and Victor likes to talk to people like that. Hey, coming back, I'm going to tell you what the problem is with the Pacers. Why, after what will be a gentleman's sweep, maybe they get another win to the Knicks, but we feel the Pacers are going to go. And as good as Oklahoma City is, and as good as Indiana is, I don't even think they got a puncher's chance. I'll tell you why next. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I hope you got up this morning and washed yourself clean underneath a Connecticut water softened shower. If that was you, carry on about your day. You're doing it just right. But if you're like many and you don't have a Connecticut, you got up and washed yourself under a less than stellar product. Then you look down on the bottom of your shower, probably right there on the nozzle, you see that white powder right there. You know what? That's limestone. And then you walked outside to get your coffee cup, and you grabbed your cup, and you looked at the bottom, and there's that white dust. There it is again. And then you went over to put some ice for your iced coffee, and your ice is a little cloudy. You know, that's the limestone in your water, and now it's clogging up your refrigerator. If you're dealing with that, you don't have the water treatment system you need, and Connecticut has it, and you can get it right now without a penny out of your pocket. For the next 90 days, if you're already plumb for a water softener, if you'll call 656 Pure, they're going to put the very best in your home, and you'll find out what I'm saying. And on that 91st day, if you decide to buy, listen to this. With approved credit, there's zero down. You can get it all paid off in a couple years. There's money in your water softener right now. It might not be good for you, but the parts matter to us, so they might pay you a little bit of money for that, and there's a gift. A reverse osmosis drinking station on your sink just for buying the very best. How do you do it? Call 656 Pure and need more details. Go to ConnecticutSA.com. Yeah, sing it while you talk it. Connecticut SA, it's the very best you're going to get. And when you get one, you're going to come on by and thank me later.
If you have a lot of shopping to do for summer, then you're actually in luck. Because at Macy's, the latest designer trends are here now. From swim and sandals to match sets and linen suits, all for 20% off. But get this, spend $100 and get 25% off. Spend $200 and get 30% off. 30%. So the bigger your summer, the better. Because the more you buy, the more you save. But hurry, it all starts Thursday at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So we had a huge new business pitch.
Attention, all hands on deck.
When, boom, our only printer was fried.
Up in smoke, like your chances of landing that account.
Well, I just sent the file to Staples. Devin, the print associate, was on it. She had it printed and bound same day.
So where's the drama?
There wasn't any. Staples made it super easy.
Inconceivable. For the products, services, and experts you need, Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Since 1993, Thomas J. Henry dedicated himself to building a firm that injured clients can trust and respect. A firm backed by a track record of success and a commitment to our clients. If you've been injured, trust Thomas J. Henry. San Antonio, Texas.
Have you ever closed your eyes and pictured owning a piece of the Texas coast? Ocean views, world-class fishing off of Matagorda Bay? Well, dream no more. Saturday, June 7th, Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point is dropping the final release of these incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1 to 3 acre properties, all with ocean access for just $49.9. You heard correctly, $49.9. This gated community has a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch, even boat and RV storage, plus paved roads and underground utilities. It's the whole shebang. It's all happening Saturday, June 7th. 1 to 3 acres with ocean access, just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing. Don't wait another minute. Call 832-662-0389. Texas coastal land has never been this affordable.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
If you missed the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you missed this.
Apparently, the cat meant a lot to you guys in the mornings, and it became the morning show mascot. Cool. Keep it in the mornings.
Yeah, but our mascot in the afternoon is Pledge. So, I mean, that's y'all can have the kitty in the morning, and that's great.
Kitty in the morning could also be a country song.
Well, that could be.
Who doesn't want to start their day that way?
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Are they talking bad about KBB? I hope did I misunderstand the tone of the Blitz talking about?
Oh yeah, they're always hating on it.
The legend that is Kitty Big Balls. Let's zero in on him. Here he is.
They mock what they don't understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's more than a mascot. KBB is more of a guiding principle. He's more than just a little animal that has been stuffed and mounted. He's a principle of surviving. Well, not even that.
Yeah, he's an honorary member of the show.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
And more than a mascot. Now, I will agree that James Pledger is indeed the mascot of the Blitz, and gets all the rights and duties that are reserved therein. Yeah. So last night we watched the Pacers, and, Tyrese was extraordinary. One of those kind of nights where you don't get 30, 15, and 12 with no turnovers. That's unheard of. And it really is. Only a couple of guys have ever done that. And when you get those kind of performances, it's really easy to extrapolate what they could do against a better team like Oklahoma City. We know what Oklahoma City does, and we know what Indiana does, and they do things not exactly alike, but they operate under the same mentality, that constant pressure will create cracks. And through those cracks, we will squirm to a victory. We will just keep attacking and picking the scab until you turn the ball over enough and we run away from you. Oklahoma City had more blowout 10-point wins than anybody did all year long. And I bet Indiana's pretty damn close. But what would appear to be a matchup of equals really isn't. And it wasn't so much last night that it was apparent, but it was. It was more apparent in the night before, in the game prior with the Knicks and the Pacers, and it was Karl Anthony Towns in the fourth quarter and what he was able to do by himself against the front line of Indiana. Miles Turner, I've always been a fan. I think he's one of those unheralded, multi-talented dudes that the game caught up to, that he's always been a big, remember him in Texas in those early years, that had handles and was able to shoot and could step out and draw and have some gravity to bring defenders to come see him because they can't leave him alone. As for a lot of the playoffs, or early on at least against Miami in the next round, he was leading the league or leading playoffs in blocks. But it has gotten to the point defensively, he can't even be on the court. And Karl Anthony Towns destroyed him and others. And it's not like Oklahoma City is huge. But the Chet Holmgren, Miles Turner matchup is only going to go one direction, and it'll be Holmgren's. Because not only can Chet come out with him and defend him, Miles is not capable of defending a guy like Holmgren, especially over the last couple of weeks. I picked the Pacers when the season began. I felt like they'd done everything required that I think are important to win a title. They acquired Pascal Siakam at the end of last year. While I'm not sure I ever valued Haliburton as much as he's valued now, I never thought of him as undervalued, and certainly I didn't think he was overrated, but we've seen that he's there. I think Nembhard has been a revelation at the other guard. They kept everybody together. They got one of the best coaches in the world to lead them. But at the end of the day, they didn't address the size down low. They didn't address that. And I think their final undoing, and what will be a moderately competitive series once they dispatch the Knicks, and it'll probably take another game to do that, that in the end, the front line is going to be the death of them, that they're going to be able to compete, and I think they're going to be able to hold on to the ball enough to keep things relatively close to Oklahoma City. But I think Miles Turner can be guarded not only by Chet. I think that you could do the same things to Turner that Caruso did to Joker. I think Dort can keep Miles Turner out of the paint and certainly block him out. I just don't see the physicality in the paint to be able to keep up with Oklahoma City. It just doesn't seem like it's going to fit. Now, there's still some work to be done. It doesn't mean Oklahoma City can't do something miraculous, though. They're not. That's what are the numbers? Tibbs is 1-3 in 3-1 matchup, down 3-1 in his coaching history. The Pacers have won 4 straight games. When they have a chance to clinch playoffs, they put their foot on the throat of the teams they're beating. That's the longest streak in history. And, well, the Knicks are 1-3 under Tibbs when they're facing elimination. So, I think we can paint a foregone conclusion, and it doesn't feel like Minnesota and Oklahoma could go any further. And we're going to talk about that next. It's coming up tonight. You can catch the game live right here. Let's talk Oklahoma City, Minnesota. What has to happen for Minnesota to just get a little bit more precious time? We got some Dallas Cowboy thoughts, and Shams Charania was on McAfee yesterday, and he had some really good news about Victor Wembanyama. I'll tell you what that is at 7:45. Hold on tight. We're talking Thunder Rolls coming around the corner. This is the Morning Huddle. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. It has been a very busy morning rush hour. We've got accidents. I-10 westbound at Wurzbach. 2 left lanes are blocked. Got you a bit slow from medical. 410 northbound Houston Street. That wreck is in the left lane. I-10 eastbound FM 1518 right lane blocked with an accident. 7-8 minute delay slow from 1604. On 35 northbound, that off-ramp to get onto Randolph Boulevard, we've got a multi-vehicle accident. Chain reaction crash here. The connector ramp is blocked. On I-10 eastbound at Camp Bullis, that's a stalled 18-wheeler. 2 right lanes blocked. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off. Free UPS shipping and add code RADIO for an extra 5% off.
During National Military Appreciation Month, we at University of Maryland Global Campus say thank you to the service members, veterans, and families who dedicate their lives to our country. We are deeply grateful. For over 75 years, UMGC has proudly served the military community. From installations overseas to the communities you call home. Wherever you serve, we stand with you. Learn more at umgc.edu/thanks. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Most of us go to the doctor when we're sick or need prescriptions refilled. But at the Institute for Functional Health, we offer a different and complete version of primary care. This means you will get the medications you need, but we will also put together a custom game plan to fix the root cause and allow your body to heal itself. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we help people get off of medications. Call me for a free consultation, 468-1891, or online at iffhealth.com. You will experience a doctor's visit unlike any you've ever had. 468-1891.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007. You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collisions since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
At Progressive, we understand the bond you have with your boat. It's why people name theirs.
I named my boat Sure Don't. Get it? The other day when my friend said, "Hey Larry, you want to head back in? It looks like it might rain." I said, "Sure don't." I guess they didn't get it because they didn't laugh.
Whatever you call your boat, protected by insuring it with Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, the NBA playoffs continue. We'll have all the reaction from last night's Knicks-Indiana Pacers game.
Do the Oklahoma City Thunder close things out tonight against Minnesota?
And the Cowboys getting ready for another round of OTAs.
The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hi, this is Joe Reinagel, and you're listening to the home of the Dallas Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle. I'm Rob. Thanks for hanging with us today. Those blue skies look awfully nice. If you're just waking up, you're wondering what all that stuff is and why it's all in the streets. Yeah, man, oh man, did we have a
fell over. I know.
So I had my own particular issues coming in this morning. Blinkers, hazard lights,
right?
Hey, chaos. But we had no idea what had. Which one of us is that? Me or you?
That's you.
That's me.
Mine don't
Hold on
sound
just
like
a second.
that.
Something very important's happening.
Aha.
I just can't figure out how to turn this thing off. Very strange. I don't know how to turn this thing off. Oh, there we go.
Oh.
It's my watch, and it's not reacting.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, that's crazy. My watch won't turn off. I don't know how to make it stop.
What sound
Make
is
it
that?
stop, Vic.
I don't know how. I don't know what is that.
It's,
an Amber Alert, or is it a?
I don't know what's going on, but it's not happy with me. It's stuck on a thing. I'm gonna have to turn this thing off. But anyway, gosh, a phone you can silence. You can't silence your watch. I got it. All right. So Vic looks out his Ring doorbell, and his tree's tumped over. And I used tumped over in the best possible way.
Right?
Your tree is legitimately tumped over in your front yard. And this is a 40 year, 25-year-old tree?
Yeah, I'd say about 30 years. Yep,
30-year-old tree. tumped over in your front yard.
And it missed any fence, right? It didn't fall towards the house. It didn't fall towards the cars. It fell in the perfect place.
Oh, you're so exceedingly lucky and unlucky all at once.
Yeah, because now I got to mess with it.
Yeah, that's that's going to be that's a chainsaw or two bit of work. Thank goodness it didn't fall in your house. So it is those little things. And now you got an entirely new chance to landscape your front yard. Yeah. But man, what a storm that blew through this morning. I wonder how much this is going to feed our local lakes. Tubing should be good this week.
Aren't you over the recharge zone?
I know. I'm over the recharge zone. And when I got up and left my home this morning up around 4, it was as bad as it was the night before. Okay. But the only difference being the ground's already soaked. So the water was standing everywhere. Yeah. It was a crazy drive in. And, you know, I drove out of it. So I guess I drove out of it, got here, and that same storm came over us because you left this morning same time I did, and you didn't. That was still there.
Yeah, the tree was still up. I mean, it was just barely drizzling. No hard winds or anything. So,
crazy.
I knew I had to deal with that tree sooner or later.
I ran into a little bit of an issue driving in this morning with people with their hazard lights on. Do you guys drive in the pouring rain with your hazard lights on? If you do, that's fine. I think. No, I don't think. I don't like it. But that's a whole other point. But if you did miss any of this conversation, what I do think is relevant because it matters, safety, you know. You can refer back to our YouTube feed and listen early on and see if I am not indeed absolutely correct in my observance that if you're driving with your hazard lights on, 3 things need to be happening. One of 3 things can be happening. 1 is you're in peril, your car's breaking down, you're pulling over to the side of the road. 2, you're on the way to the hospital. And keep in mind, this is in terrible weather. And 3, you're terrified. It's only one of those 3 things. If one of those 3 things doesn't apply, then turn off your hazards. And if you do have your hazards on, you're not allowed to go past one exit. Once you get to an exit, you have to get off if you're going to drive with your hazards on. I think we can agree on that. But go listen and see what you think. Tonight, we have our first potential good night game in the finals, the Western Conference Finals, as the Timberwolves are at Oklahoma City. It's 3-1. And, you know, apart from that one home, my mama's in front kind of game that Minnesota offered, this hasn't even been close. Anthony Edwards, I hate to tell you this, Anthony, but you're no Tyrese Haliburton. At least not yet. It just hasn't been there. And some of it is him, some of it, but most of it is Oklahoma City. Some of it is Anthony Edwards not understanding his place on the hierarchy of basketball, his place on the Timberwolves, and their absolute desperate need for him to score. He led the league in three-point volume. I mean, it's his job. It's the reason that they're there. And Oklahoma City knew that and has thrown 4 stellar defenders at him constantly. Every time he's on the court, there's an OKC jersey rubbing up against him. And it's been like that for 4 games, and it'll be like that in the 5th. And some of it I don't blame him for. Sometimes, like the Jordan rules took Jordan out a couple years, the Thunder and the torture chamber, it has just worked. So the others are going to have to show. And Julius Randle, you had a couple more points than a dead guy the other night. So he hadn't showed up. Now, Shai Gilgeous' cousin has. Isn't that ironic? Your second best guy is the cousin of the guy that's whooping your ass. So, I just don't see a good end to this. The Thunder have an 11-1 series record with a 3-1 lead. Only time they'd lost was in 2016 to the Warriors. They have a 4-1 series record when up 3-1 since coming to Oklahoma City. They've got for my money, I'm not going to, Rick Carlisle's a pretty damn good coach. But for my money, the one that's next to join the echelon, they've got Diagonal there, and he's got the coach, With the Timberwolves down 3-1, the numbers tell us it ain't going to end well. It's going to end fast. They're 0-4 when they've been down 3-1. They've lost Game 5 when trailing 3-1 each of the last 3 times they've been there. Are you getting the drift? What's about to happen? The notable thing about the last game is the thing that was so soul-sucking for the Timberwolves was there are 4 different opportunities in the last game to take a lead and take over. A 5-0 run, a 6-0 run, 2 7-0 runs. They got right to the door, and every time, man, they got slapped. You know, there's no bigger heartbreak than that. You know, they say in the NBA there's always going to be a run, and there is. But it's how do you survive it and how you get past. That's the separator. And the runs are coming for Minnesota, and at least in the last game, it was because of the others. Dante Vincenzo had a phenomenal game. Kel Alexander, same thing. But it still wasn't enough. And you think they're going to be able to bring that to Oklahoma City? It feels foregone. It just absolutely feels foregone. So when I see these situations, I go, okay, what's the one thing that Minnesota can do to kind of buy some time to get themselves through? And it's not Anthony Edwards. And you know, just a couple of 3 weeks ago, I was ready for Anthony Edwards to be uncorked, to become the dude that we started to see with Team USA last summer, that to finally be in a situation, on a stage, on a platform that would allow him to do some stuff against a really good team. And it has been a no-go, just an absolute no-go. And like I said, I blame him for a little of it. But it's more of a credit to what Oklahoma City can do defensively. It is just utterly staggering to see the defensive pressure that they're capable of applying. I really haven't seen it. I'd like to say I saw the Spurs play like that. The times have changed. The manpower's different. But the way they can roll out 3 all-NBA level wing defenders, and one of them capable of just taking the pants off Joker in Caruso. It is shown on Anthony Edwards, and this is probably, while, you know, he's had learning experiences, this is the most difficult time in his professional career right now. The way he was humbled last game, and the way he was really taken to task by a lot of pundits who really don't understand a lot of what's going on, but saw it. That right now, when you're a guy like this, and you know expectations are this huge, and your production has been, you know, solid. Now's the time that all this Volume 3 and all this kind of stuff are going to have to come to play. But I just cannot see Oklahoma City allowing it to happen. So what does Minnesota have to do? Well, let's try something you haven't done so far. Why don't you start doubling up on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Go for broke. You're going to have to stop him. He's the one guarantee in this series, or one of several guarantees. He's a 30-point guarantee. So maybe you cut that down a little bit. Now, you're playing with fire because there's a lot of others on this team that are capable of kind of keeping up with it. But I'll go down swinging with him on the sidelines. Oklahoma City, Diagonal, took the risk of utterly destroying Anthony Edwards and daring other people to play well. It almost backfired. They dared the others in the last game, and I'll be darned if Nickel and Dante Vincenzo didn't have a game. But do you think that'll fly this way? I take the ball out of Gilgeous' hands, Gidges, as Shaq calls him. As soon as he crosses half court, I got to get it out of his hands. But here's the problem. Once you do that, you are committed. You can't leave him. You can't leave that double team unattended. As soon as you drop off, now he's facing one-on-one coverage and your defense is out of whack. You're going to have to commit to it. So your second defensive stop's going to have to be solid. But that's your only prayer, I think, is to take the head of the snake off and hope it dies quickly. And then you might have a shot. But I just can't imagine not trying that. And also, Minnesota, you need a little bit of offensive punch. And I'll give some credit to AJ. On Friday, he said, one of the things I do is bring in that rookie that Minnesota drafted. The kid from Illinois that had all the issues coming out. Add some offense. Let me find his name as I bring him up. But add some offense to your game. Now, the problem with Minnesota's offense is their turnover problems continue to astound. And having young kids out there like Terrence Shannon Jr. doesn't calm the nervous coach. I mean, he's going to turn the ball over now. He's got a nose for the rim. He goes. But you're adding turnovers to even more turnover problems. But I think if you're swinging for the fences, if this is last gasp, I think I would try to do what I think Oklahoma City is least equipped to do, and that's just to run as much as I can. Get out in front of those sticky guards. Maybe Dillingham. Maybe the speed he brings in Shannon. Maybe that's going to be a little bit. But we're talking about a team with last gasp, we don't do it tonight, we go home kind of stuff that they're going to have to pull tonight. I think that's all they've got, because the soul searching will begin as soon as this season, or they lose, whether it's tonight or tomorrow or Friday. Because they have manufactured a team in Minnesota that now has proven and it will not be successful. They made a trade that at best, they're equal, but they're not. We saw what Karl Anthony did the other night. So they're tied with a lot of money and really one superstar. I wouldn't be surprised to see some activity this year. And some of these dudes can't even move. I'm not sure anybody will touch Gobert. But that's a team that you feel like has kind of apexed out, that they've done all they could do. They peaked last year. They thought they were going to hurdle, and it's over. They're now in, it's not official, and they're not in total rebuild mode, but they're in find a new lane mode. They got one dude to do it with. So that's one of those teams that is going to go home with more questions than they thought they were going to have to answer when they got into the playoffs. The New York Knicks, if they are exited, which looks like it could be imminent, I still think there's time for them to continue to mill around with what they've got. This is just the first year with Karl and Brunson, and we know Mikal Bridges has had a few issues. I don't think that if the thing is over with them that they have much to be too concerned about. Now, I'm sad Knick fan is going to be great to watch, but the fact of the matter is this is a fairly young team, and they've got room to work around the edges, and they've got some talent. I don't think if it was over tomorrow night that after the sadness is done, there is still some more daylight with the Knicks. I don't think they leave upset. If for some reason there is an utter collapse with the Pacers, we know what that does to teams. You don't recover from a 3-1 deficit loss. So if that were to happen, who knows what goes on in the Pacers, but that's not going to happen. So as we look at the legacy of the season as we're winding down to our two finalists, one's going to go home in Minnesota with answers, with questions, and some issues that they're going to try to fix, because it doesn't look like fixing things around the edges will be enough. Because not only are they slowing down, teams behind them are catching up. Such is the life of basketball. But I think that the Knicks, at the same time, they'll probably be far more devastated because, heck, they're a Knicks fan. Once they realize that they do have a pretty good young group of kids, a pretty good group of guys that are going to be solid for the next 3 or 4 years, they can just work around the edges a little bit. Improve down low. Get a little bit more scoring from the wing. And I think that they're as competitive as anybody else in the East. It's not done yet, but the numbers tell us that it ain't going to happen for either. And it's kind of where we need to be. I'm ready for the finals to begin. I'm pretty sure I know what's going on. There's really no more surprises left. I think that the T-Wolves have the room to offer the best surprise. They do have some things on the bench that might surprise. We talked about that brief shining moment when Terrence Shannon had it. So there might be something there. But for the most part, I don't expect a whole lot of we didn't see that coming kind of stuff. These two teams know, or four teams all know each other too well. And the writing's on the wall. It feels like it's completely done. Now, there's an opportunity for Jaden McDaniels to become one of those up-and-comers, a lot like Jalen Williams is for the Oklahoma City Thunder, a guy that really shows the promise and has an opportunity to step in there. And on these kind of situations, he did. He kind of did. Now, I promised earlier some news from Shams Charania. It's kind of been floating around the ether for about 24 hours, as Pat McAfee had it on his show yesterday. And he had told us that the Wemby's been cleared for practice, that shoulder thrombosis has been taken care of. And I think for the most part, though no one knows for sure except his doctors, when our experts like Dr. Jason Garrett were consulted, that they all said, it's rare up high, but when it is, it's treatable with blood thinners, and once it's over, it's over. And we've seen other guys come back far quicker, so we got a little bit of good news there. He went on to say, and I'm going to let him say it himself at the 8 o'clock hour, but he went on to talk about the situation that now, as we're winding into the finals and headed toward the draft, the situation is kind of taking a little bit more of a clearer picture after the combine. Now players are starting to seed themselves. The flowers are seeding themselves, as it were. The teams that are in the top 10 are narrowing in on their guys, and guys like Shams and the rest are plugged into that. So they're starting to talk about, okay, we're firming up our picture of what this post and pre and post draft is going to look like, and where the money sits, and the things that are all going to kind of play into the decisions that are going to be made. And obviously, with Kevin Durant and Giannis floating around as prime candidates to be acquired, as guys like Cam Johnson are being continually mentioned by the Nets, guys that are legitimate, I wouldn't say franchise changer like Giannis, but legitimate alterers of destiny. That these guys can come in, all three of those, and a couple of others, can arrive and make a big difference now as we get an idea who at 4, 5, 6, what the draft pecking order is looking like, and as teams are zeroing in on their 2 or 3 guys, and the phone calls are now being made about potential trades and flops and things that typically occur pre-draft but never really come out for the most part. Once that firms up, Shams told me, and I feel pretty comfortable where the Spurs sit, and you're going to hear from him in just a couple of minutes. But before we go, I want to give away some tickets now that Vic is back and refreshed. How you feeling?
Better.
I walked outside a second ago. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a beautiful day.
Beautiful, shiny day. A good day for cutting wood.
Yeah.
Good day to
bust out the chainsaw.
Yeah. And given the weather that we've had the last 2 days and what appeared to blow through your neighborhood, I don't think you're going to be alone.
Yeah,
I think there are going to be others out there cutting some limbs.
Yeah, I'll pay attention to see if I hear chainsaws in the distance.
Nothing wonderful, more beautiful than a Saturday morning at 7 a.m. when a good dear neighbor.
That's me. Actually, I wait till 8.
Has their chainsaw or
I wait till 8 to mow the lawn.
Their 3-stroke back-mounted 180-mile-an-hour leaf blower that I covet, though I hate. I'd like to have one. Yeah, you want to go see the Gunslingers take on the Steam Wheelers. They're coming to play for our fandom here at the Freeman Coliseum in just a little over a week. That'll be Saturday, January the 7th. If you can rustle up 3 friends, all 4 of y'all can go together. All you got to do is get on the phone. 656-3776, 656-ESPN, and you are caller number 6. We'll do 6. I already said.
All right.
Caller number 6, you're going to go on us. Have yourself a good time. I've got some tickets to go see Stick Figure. They're coming to the Germania Insurance Amphitheater, and if you're a reggae fan, especially from reggae bands from California, man, you're going to enjoy this show. I'll have those tickets for you at 9 o'clock. So get on the phone. Hold on tight. We got a whole lot to get into. We're going to hear what the Spurs' plans appear to be, according to Shams Charania, on the other side. College football talk is also coming. Looks like the coaches are finally making, there is now anger from coaches. For the first 2 years of the portal and all the money, most coaches, they either looked flummoxed and kind of like, well, we're just going to see how it plays out, or they quit. They just left. I don't want to do this anymore. Now those that were kind of confused as to how this is working are mad. Kirby Smart's mad. Mike Elko's mad. And when coaches of that stature in the biggest conference in the world are mad, so does Greg Sankey. Everybody's mad. Big Ten has rounded into an idea, and they've started with the thing that needs to be first. Needs to be first to fix. Now, my idea what's first should be first might be different from your idea that might be first. But I'm telling you what needs to be fixed first. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what that is. Just on the other side of the break. There is one thing that needs to be fixed first. The Big Ten zeroed in on it. SEC is trying to get there. Big 12 and the ACC are sitting and watching. Everybody wants it done unless you're thriving in chaos. But there's one thing that's got to be fixed. And they're kind of rounding into it right now. And you will kind of figure out when it should be fixed and how it should be fixed. After you hear a couple of words from those that pay our salaries. Pay very close attention to what's coming next. Our fine sponsors. Hey, Vic, let's go get a cup of coffee. We'll be right back. It's 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
6 for 6, and the Aggies have the lead.
Your home for Aggies football. KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code RADIO for an extra 5% off.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Have you ever closed your eyes and pictured owning a piece of the Texas coast? Ocean views, world-class fishing off of Matagorda Bay? Well, dream no more. Saturday, June 7th, Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point is dropping the final release of these incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1 to 3 acre properties, all with ocean access for just $49.9. You heard correctly, $49.9. This gated community has a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch, even boat and RV storage, plus paved roads and underground utilities. It's the whole shebang. It's all happening Saturday, June 7th. 1 to 3 acres with ocean access, just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing. Don't wait another minute. Call 832-662-0389. Texas coastal land has never been this affordable.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson. I'm a personal injury attorney, and since 1994, I've been helping people and their families seriously injured or killed by negligent drivers. My website is alawyerforus.com. I use that phrase because I know that there's no way a regular San Antonian can possibly beat a billion-dollar insurance company alone. You will need an experienced attorney to stand up for you and get what you and your family deserve. This month, my father will retire after 50 years of practicing law, doing what he taught me to do, help people in need. Stand up for the people that can cannot. Use the skills you have to help the people in your community win and where you can. When an insured driver seriously injures someone, a billion-dollar insurance company uses everything it can to pay as little as possible. Every insurance company you have heard of has a very large staff of attorneys already working against you. If you or a family member has been seriously injured because of a negligent driver, call me, Jason Thompson, as soon as you can after a collision. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or check out my website, alawyerforus.com.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. Jason Minix here from San Antonio Sports Star. You can do that with Orchard. Orchard puts cash into your pockets. You can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday 1. Then you buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday 2. Learn how you can make more with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
Something amazing is happening in networking. Organizations are scaling with less stress. That's because CDW is designing and implementing intelligent HPE Aruba networking solutions that simplify and secure operations. With automation at the center of your data center, growing pains can be a thing of the past. HPE Aruba Networking and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Aruba.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. It's been a very busy morning rush hour. 35 on the frontage road, Schertz area. From Schertz Parkway to 1518, still closed with flooding. 35 northbound at Walsham, that is road work that's blocking all lanes. I-10 eastbound FM 1518, accident right lane. Got a stall at 281 southbound Danella, center lane blocked. It's a stalled 18-wheeler on I-10 eastbound at Camp Bullis with 2 right lanes closed. And then on the westbound side, that off-ramp to Camp Bullis, we've got some high water, some flooding, so exit ramp is closed. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The NBA playoffs rolled on last night as the Indiana Pacers were the first home team to take a win, taking the Knicks down 130-121 behind Tyrese Haliburton's historic 32 points, 12 rebounds, 15 assists, and 4 steals. He also parked cars and served hot dogs. Tonight is Game 5 in the Western Conference Finals as the T-Wolves face a must-win situation. Tip set for 7:30 right here on San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, gather around. We got a lot to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle. I'm Rob. No AJ today. He will be back in the saddle, now currently occupied by KBB, Kitty Big Balls. Will be in transit today. Oh, we can't. There he is. Settle in, KBB. Got something to say? Sound off like you had a pair.
Yeah.
They're sadly gone. When we had him stuffed, if we'd have kept his moniker, he would have toppled over. There was no room. They were that amazingly huge. Yeah. We had to, in death, he had to part with what gave him his name. Yeah. But he lives on as the mascot of, at the very least, the Morning Huddle. Probably the entire station, though. I hear Joe and Jason have their own, and it's Pledge. Yeah. We prefer the four-legged mascot, the collegiate idea. When should the transfer portal happen? I told you before the break that I'd tell you what needs to be fixed first, and it's transfer portal. And I didn't break any news. Everybody knows that. But how? How are we going to fix it? Because everybody can agree that there's a problem, And we can all agree that the fix to the problem that is currently 2 transfer portal periods, right. There's early and late, that's stupid, that needs to be fixed. Now, the SEC, led by Kirby Smart and Mike Elko, are kind of like, we would prefer to have the transfer portal be in early January, the time when the incoming mid-season freshmen that are coming in, that early qualified and early graded from high school, that it can come in and go through spring practice and potentially get themselves on the field in September. That's when they're going to show up. So that's when the transfer portal should be. You can transfer and arrive in time for the academic calendar, and you can go to class and be part of the school as long as they're paying you, whatever the case may be. That's what they would like. Now, the Big Ten, on the other, they're the other kissing sister amongst the big times. They would prefer, by their poll, something in March or April. Then at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that whether it happens at a time you don't necessarily like, it is still would be better than the current situation. That even if you're pro into season before the new semester begins, transfer portal, so we can get the guys in and have some kind of semblance that this is still college and they're going to go to class, they transfer and arrive in time to start the semester instead of some kind of weird mini-mester online that they can actually be inculcated on campus, and go look that up if you were one of those that didn't have to do it. That would fit best. And I agree. I think that would probably be the best time if I was the coaches. If I was a coach, I'd want them in as soon as possible, and I want to lock them in and not let them leave for a year right then. Now, the Big Ten, they think later. Let the freshmen come in and find them some space, and then go through spring practice. Everybody goes through spring practice, and then after spring practice, whenever we decide it's over, we open the portal then to allow the players who have found they're no longer ones or twos or not doing what they thought they were going to do to leave at that point, that they can go. And if you're a player, that would be best. If I was a player, I'd want to know where I stood and then make my decision, as opposed to being locked in and find out I arrived being promised X, Y, and Z, and whatever X, Y, and Z was ain't going to happen. Well, I'm stuck now, at least for the year, which is still far better than it used to be. But at least now, you know you're locked in. The Big Ten is probably more player-friendly. The SEC's idea is more coach-friendly. Which do you think would be the best for you? 656-3776. The Brigade Bar is always wide open for you. For me, it just seems to be easier later. But I'm going to always fall on the player side. The coaches, I think, and for the semblance of this still being an interscholastic activity, that they still arrive and the transfer portal ends at a pretty ceremonial beginning to the semester. And I know there's a week variance or maybe 2 weeks according to your school, whether you're on semesters or quarters or whatever it might be. But I think we can all agree on a date that would fit for every conference. So that would be the easiest fix there. But the real problem that's going on right now, the kind of thing that matters to those behind the scenes, is this college football playoff and trying to find a way to make it equitable, because it's never going to be fair, but at least as equitable as possible to the power conferences. Because I'll tell you, the ADs and the presidents are going to make the decisions, the guys that are going to meet behind the scenes and drink bourbon and smoke cigars, and they're not going to have the Peter Burns and the SEC network sitting out front with a desk. It's going to be someplace else where the decisions are made. And when guys like Greg Sankey are sitting in with college presidents, like the president of Texas now, and Alabama, Georgia, the ones that their opinion not only matters in their university system, but throughout the states and regions where they are. And they come and they say, and they look at Sankey and they go, When I see this college playoff thing that you decided to go into, and I see teams that, like Indiana, who beat one winning team, get in, and I got teams that are far better sitting and watching, and I see I'm splitting this pie of money, keeping other conferences alive because teams like SMU and Arizona State are vying for a national championship, and I've got teams of quality that might not have a record to reflect it, but will beat 90% of the country sitting at home and watching. What are we doing? Especially now that things have blown up. And I know that my conference, the SEC, or my conference, the Big Ten, can go and sign a deal that I'll make far more money on my own to feed my universities than I would being a part of the rest and tugging these smaller conferences and lesser conferences along with me. And then they have the gall, the commissioner of the ACC or the Big 12 or what might be at some point the Pac-12 in the future, have the gall to say, you know what, we should be higher seated than you guys. I can see why guys like Greg Sankey now, after all this has happened, start looking backwards to what was said back in 21. You know what, guys? If we don't all agree to something, and it better be the something that we want, we'll just take our ball and go home. I don't ever have to play a Big 12 or an ACC team again. I can have my own title. I don't need a tournament. And people would look at me like I was a national champion. At least my cohorts would. So there's too much money at stake right now to not start to fix the little things, to help the big things get solved by the dudes that really are going to look at the bottom line at the end of the day and not what us fans feel like. They got classes to build. They got honorariums to fulfill. They got endowments to feed. They got an engine to feed. And they don't care at Georgia what the hell is going on at UTSA. I should make room for you? As a conference champion, you think you can play with us? I'll take my ball and go home. So the first thing to do is agree when we keep our players and when they can leave. And once we agree on that, then we'll start talking about pay. And then once we can figure out on that where there's an equitable, not fair, but equitable to those that are involved way to do that, then we'll get to the things that really matter. How are we going to keep this entire fragile football thing sewn together without the big boys just taking their ball and going home? Because we can't have another year where an SMU is fighting for a title. They don't belong. We can't have another year where Arizona State picks and chooses and picks his way and barely falls ass backwards into a tournament where they don't belong. Well, I've got schools in my conference, Michigan, Wisconsin, who have a far bigger investment and spend far more money, and what they do affects me as the college president, as the conference chairman. I don't care what goes on. I just got to feed my Bulldogs. First and foremost, let's get the groundwork taken care of. Or, my goodness, it's going to end up being a Big Ten champion and an SEC champion on different networks, and it'll be like the AFL and the NFL. We'll have two different titles, and we'll just decide who the mythical champion is, and no one wants that. But I can see how it happens. You can just hear the anger. Listen to the SEC coaches. Did you see Kirby Smart? You see Sam Howell or Sam, head coach in Arkansas? These dudes are mad because enough is enough. I got my own problems. Last thing I need is a bunch of coyotes thieving off my guys. Let's lock them in, and then let's start figuring out how we can all play nice, or the whole thing collapses, because we're getting to that point. It's not a couple more years. It's still kind of fun, but it's about to start being uncomfortable. It's start being very apparent that there are scofflaws out there, those that are willing to sacrifice all to just bring it all down, to bring in the equality. And if I'm a coach that has the ability to do that I can throw a monkey wrench in and steal somebody and get a dude that I was being banked on to promote a program, I'm going to do it. Because it's my last gasp to keep myself relevant. but it can't work like this. The top can't be this heavy. Continue to reach out on the Brigade Bar. We do appreciate it. We got big basketball games coming up. There's one primary thing that Indiana needs to do, and we're going to get there in about 15 minutes. But coming back, the game tonight, if it's not Shai Gilgeous, if you can't stop him, who can you stop? And how are you going to do it? Let's talk some Thunder Rolls coming up next. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Nigel, why does our office look like a casino?
I call it employee engagement.
Folks, right now is the ideal time to hit the jackpot on comfort with Quarter Moon's Lucky 7's AC tune-up. It's just $77 for a complete 7-point inspection.
Excuse me, bossman. I've got a good feeling about that slot machine next to your desk. Joel, I couldn't get an advance on next week's check, could I?
Call Quarter Moon Plumbing, AC and Heating for your Lucky 7's AC tune-up. Just $77. 210-651-5899.
License number TACLA 141074EM16004.
Celebrate youth sports with the San Antonio Brahmas. The Herd returns to the Alamo Dome Sunday, June 1st to take on the Arlington Renegades in their final home game of the season. Celebrate the future of sports as they highlight young athletes, players, and coaches in their Celebrate Youth Sports game. Bring the family and enjoy the fun with local community mascots, a halftime youth flag football showcase, and of course, Brahmas football. Get your tickets at UFLBrahmas.com. That's UFLBrahmas.com. Our town, our team, our Herd.
Hey, San Antonio, multiple tours overseas, years of protecting the country, it all adds up at University of Maryland Global Campus. Earn up to 90 credits for prior learning, military experience, and training toward our low-cost degree and certificate programs. We call that credit where credit is due. For over 75 years, our dedicated success coaches have been helping service members achieve their goals. Get started with local support and online and hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATX.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, the NBA playoffs continue. We'll have all the reaction from last night's Knicks-Indiana Pacers game.
Do the Oklahoma City Thunder close things out tonight against Minnesota?
And the Cowboys getting ready for another round of OTAs.
The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You're listening to the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
You know, I'm always asked, do you get tired of A.J. singing?
Right.
And the answer is yes. Don't worry, I'm not going to sing.
Yeah.
But hey, he sings. It is. A.J. has a ridiculous talent. And it is the fact that he knows the lyrics to literally every song that comes on air. It's Rain Man-esque. It's strange. It is a bizarre talent.
Right, and a variety of genres.
It doesn't matter. He did go to music college there in Nashville. So there's some of that, it's part of his education, as it were. But it's Rain Man-esque. And it's kind of strange that he can spout the lyrics to just about anything. Really, it's annoying if you want to get down the bottom to it, but it is what it is. It is a remarkable talent. And no, it doesn't drive me crazy until it does. He'll be back tomorrow, by the way. Everything good in there, Vic?
Yeah.
I'm hanging in there. I
know.
I hate when I listen to guys on air and they sound like I do.
I get it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm a little nasally today. I don't know what it is. Trust me, I feel better than I sound, which is rare.
Right.
So today, forgive the nasal quality to what I got. It's just, I'm fighting it. Dr. Jason Garrett's going to be here in about 15, 20 minutes. And man, oh man, do we have a lot to talk about. In fact, I promise some OKC talk. I'm going to punt that. I'm going to treat this like a Dallas Cowboys salary negotiation. We're just going to kick it down the street a little bit. We'll get there in a second. But I want to set up. See, I'm going to do some strategery. I'm going to set up Dr. Garrett. I'm going to give him something to punt, something to play with. And that's what happened yesterday on the Pat McAfee show, who is celebrating all of his Indianapolis stuff. You know, he's very Indiana, and he's been doing his show outside of the field house there in Indianapolis as the Pacers were taking care of business. He had a bunch of folks out there doing kind of his road show, and he has a road show. Anybody who has seen him at Super Bowls or anything like that. So he had his whole crew sitting outside there up in Indianapolis yesterday, and Shams Charania came out from the dark place from where he resides, reading tweets and talking to general managers on the down low, and offered us some good news. He talked about Wemby and his preparation and readiness for training camp.
Wemby, he's been doing some on-court stuff. We've been seeing it on social media, so that should be a positive sign. And the Spurs, everything I hear, they fully expect him to be ready to go for the start of next season, for the start of training camp. That is amazing news for the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah,
and the NBA.
Yeah, we're pumped about that.
Round of applause. That's amazing news. Give it up. He's no longer thrombotic. And not quite as much applause as I thought. Do we have some applause in the can? Let's all give it up for no more thrombosis. Let's put your hands together. Thank you. The wonders of modern medicine. No, I don't think anybody's surprised by that news, but it's certainly good. The other side would be devastating beyond words. So, yes, we're quite happy that he's going to be around. Now, to the conversation that it's at every water cooler, every time any kind of basketball comes up, the talk is the offseason and the Spurs. So this is Shams telling us what we already know.
They also have a ton of assets. They have tradable contracts. They have the number 2 pick. They have the number 14 pick in this year's draft. They have a bunch of tradable picks as well moving forward. They have all their picks. So
El Jefe.
Whether there's a player like a Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think a Kevin Durant's another guy that the Spurs, there was mutual interest in at the deadline. I think they're going to be looking very actively to see, is there a wing player we can bring in that could take us over the top?
Oh, there's so much in there. So I want to go in this one, and in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to come back to this. So be here about 9:15. I want to talk about this again at 9:15 because I think there's two parts of this discussion, and we're not going to have enough. And I wanted to make sure we got from Shams about Victor's thrombosis and his prognosis before we talked to Dr. Garrett and talk about prep. But now that we know he's going to be back and we know there's a bunch of assets to be moved and talked about, now we can kind of get into the meat of the matter. That this is going to be an absolutely gonzo offseason because guys like Durant and Giannis are there. First, let's talk about what could have been. Did you catch that? There was mutual interest at the deadline for Durant. Now, let's think back to the deadline. You know, Wemby was out. We were trading for De'Aaron. It appears that if Wemby was playing and we were trading for De'Aaron, or was it De'Aaron after Garnett? Did we think Garnett might happen? That didn't happen. And then we went to De'Aaron Fox, or was there a low-key attempt to land Durant with a healthy Wemby and De'Aaron Fox at the trade deadline? Were they swinging for the fences then? I'd really like to know the time frame behind the scenes. Was it they thought they could get Durant, that didn't happen, then they got De'Aaron? Or did they think they were getting both and then figured it's not worth it if there's no Victor? Very interesting part of that. What kind of discussions went through there? And to take it one step further, to really try to find the black helicopters flying over our heads, if they were willing to swing for the fences then, now they've got even more to swing with. They got a 14th pick, and they can keep their 2, or they have a 2 and a 14 and whatever. So if they were willing to do to talk about Durant back then, my whole premise of this ain't the Spurs, this ain't what they do, is out the window. I mean, it's done. If they were thinking of trading for Durant and De'Aaron Fox at the trade deadline, that's beyond even my wildest dreams as far as Spurs activity. I wouldn't have even fathomed that. So to hear Shams say that, I'm very curious as to what the timeline would have been with that. Now, we'll address the other part of that, the crazy offseason and all the stuff in a little bit. But coming up, I do want to talk about Wemby's comeback and how they manage that all the way to training camp, knowing now that it looks like he's ready to go. And as Shams said, that there is a fair amount of video out there of him working out. So what do we do to get him ready? We've seen a couple of pictures that at the very least he's been bulking. But does that slow down? Does it hinder the bulk up process when you're dealing with that? Be very curious to hear from Dr. Garrett and a bunch of other stuff as we've got Shohei throwing again. He's going to have his first live bullpen work coming up. Wonder what you're looking for there as well. What time are we going to have him, Vic?
Right after the 8:30 break, we'll have Dr. Garrett on.
Do you need to go get him now?
Yeah, I can get him now if you want.
Is it, you tell me.
Oh, yeah.
This is your boat. Yeah, let's drive this boat the way you want to drive it. I'm just a passenger. Hey, coming back, I talked to a good friend and a great dude. Dr. Jason Garrett and his mass will be here. Wait for the opening song. It's just around the corner. This is the Morning Huddle. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We have had a heck of a morning rush hour. Looks like we're starting to get through it now. A lot of the flooding, all that high water is now starting to recede in areas, so that's a good thing. Just still be very careful as you head out and about. Still working this trouble spot on 281 southbound at Donella. That stall is in the center lane. I-10 eastbound Camp Bullis. That's a stalled 18-wheeler. We do have a wrecker on scene, so hopefully this will clear soon. Still have 2 right lanes blocked. Now, if you guys see something we're not talking about, call us on the traffic tip line 210-785-2601. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off. Free UPS shipping and add code radio for an extra 5% off.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom. Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Barbecue season is back. Hey, it's Ellen.
And this is Sarah Beth.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that zesty barbecue sauce. I love that it was a little sweet, a little tangy, and with the mac and cheese,
I feel like I tasted the brown sugar bacon first. It was the absolute best combination. Pro tip, 3 sandwiches are always better than 1.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and a Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-499-9102. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-499-9102. That's 800-499-9102. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Number 17 in your playbook. Number 1 in your heart. 6'4" with the afro. 185, soaking wet. No, 285.
285.
His name is Dr. Jason Garrett. I call him friend. Welcome aboard, Doc.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good, man. I'm sitting here alone. AJ on the road today.
Oh, yeah.
How are you, Doc?
I'm good. I'm recovering from Memorial Day Murph, the hero workout where thousands of people try to kill themselves on a hard workout.
What is it again? The Memorial Day Murph?
Yeah, so it's named after Michael Murphy. He was one of the Navy SEALs that was killed in that book, Lone Survivor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you put on a 20-pound vest, you run a mile, then you do 100. So you don't take the vest off. Then you do 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, and then run another mile.
See, you lost me at just putting.
Well, I would have ended up
on.
like Murph, but I would have been begging to be shot.
Right.
Dude, congratulations.
Yeah, man.
That's impressive as all get out. When last we talked, I got a bunch of players we're going to talk about, Wemby and Shohei. But first, let's talk about what really matters, Vic Brown and his effort to get himself back in shape.
Yeah.
So, Vic, where do we stand after this last week?
Well, I'm only working out about 3 days out of the week. I only worked out on Saturday. And I'm doing it real slow because I'm, super out of shape. Not out of shape to where I get winded walking in the mall or anything. Not that bad. But, just if I were to jog or do something, very light, I would just be, trying to catch my breath. But I'm just starting off with no cardio, no anything, just basically dumbbells and squats and sit-ups and stuff like that. And I just keep it basic. I don't overdo it.
So where should he go now? So he started the process.
I don't put on a 20-pound vest or anything.
He's not limping around anymore. He got that first wave of I'm so sore I can barely move out of the way.
I'm still sore, but I'm able to move, and it's not like where I walk funny.
And if you were advising him on his wellness journey, what would be his next step? Should he add some cardio? Is there some weight things that he should add to his process, or continue with where he is now? He's still in the entry phase.
I would just continue for now, but what I would really focus on is the muscles on the back of your shoulder, your glutes, your hamstrings, and your low back muscles. So make sure those are stronger than everything else, because unfortunately most of the stuff that we do with dumbbells, even if you're holding a squat doing a dumbbell, everything is focused on the front. And we're too tight in the front to begin with because we sit all day long, we watch TV, we drive in the car, everything is short and tight. So you want to strengthen those opposite ones. Because right now nothing's going to be injured, but in a few months, all of a sudden you're going to get tendonitis in the front of your shoulders, you're going to get knee pain, low back pain, probably because you're overdoing it on those muscles in the front and not strengthening the ones in the back. So if you want to prevent that, and then you won't plateau, and then you can really start to have fun and get strong.
There you go.
Nice.
That's advice we can all use.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the things at hand. We heard from Shams, and it's not surprising, that Wemby's a full go for training camp. The expectations are. I saw a couple pictures of him over the last week or so. Looks like he's yoking up a little bit. I see a couple more inches around the shoulders, and his biceps look bigger. What's the process now? What are we doing? Is he lifting weights? What are we doing to get him completely ready for training camp?
Yeah, probably eating a ton of calories, because a guy that tall is going to have a really high metabolism. And then doing the same things we just talked about, really strengthening those muscles that support your joints. So the posterior chain, make sure that you don't end up with because those guys always have foot issues. They always have patellar tendonitis. They got tendonitis everywhere because their levers are so long, it puts a ton of stress on those tendons. And so the only way to battle that is to lift weights relatively heavy, but in a way that undoes that damage. So you're going to be doing a lot of, power cleans, deadlifts, probably some squats, but even though he's got unbelievable range of motion for his size, you don't want to load his spine up too much with a bunch of heavy squats. And so it's more things that are going to focus on that posterior chain, those dynamic closed chain exercises.
And as we watch, his process already in place that involves so much stretching and it appears kind of yoga-esque. How do you do that, the stretching and the lengthening, while at the same time trying to bulk up? Can they work hand in hand?
Oh yeah, and some of the actual weightlifting movements you do takes your joints through full range of motion and actually helps your flexibility.
Oh, awesome.
As long as you use that full range of motion. So if you look at a lot of gym bros or a lot of high school football players and you watch them do, max out on squats or or bench press, their range of motion is awful. Their pull-ups range of motion is terrible. And so they kind of set that in there for life, and then they never gain that flexibility. Wemby is a unicorn. He's got so much flexibility, especially for his height, that it's just a matter of maintaining that flexibility with weight through the same range of motion.
He is Dr. Jason Garrett. He is of Veracity. He comes by every week for a house call on our Buyer's Barricade guest line. All right. Caitlin Clark in the news again. Now she's malingering. Now look at her. No, she's got a quad strain. It looks like she's going to be out 2 weeks. Is this kind of typical wear and tear kind of stuff, do you feel like? And if it is the quad strain, what is she doing? Just resting?
Yeah, not really resting. You want to actually load that tissue as much as you can, but not through running. And so dynamic stretching, a lot of manual therapy, getting in there, hands-on, working on it, probably some shockwave treatments. If it's a 2 week, if they're saying it's 2 weeks, it means it's extremely mild. And so they just want to make sure that it doesn't get worse in the meantime. So keep flexibility, keep the strength, bring her back. I don't think this will be an ongoing issue as long as she doesn't continue to get hacked like crazy.
This is minor. We don't really know where it's going, but it is kind of troublesome. Pitcher Ronel Blanco has got elbow inflammation. He's looking for a second opinion. When you hear that, what do you think?
I think if it's on the inside along that UCL ligament, that is a little alarming because if there's inflammation, that means there's something causing it, and there's a good chance you could tear it and end up with a Tommy John situation. So hopefully they're going to fully evaluate him, make sure the inflammation goes away, but then figure out what's causing it. Usually elbow issues cause shoulder issues or shoulder issues cause elbow issues. So figure out the biomechanics, get that fixed, and then get them back.
Interesting. All right, let's get some good news about elbows. It looks like, according to the Dodgers manager Dave Roberts, that Shohei Ohtani is going to have his first live bullpen session on Saturday. What are they looking at when you get up for that? I mean, I know a lot of it is what he's telling you as far as what his body feels like, but as a rehab guy, what are you watching Shohei to see?
Well, you probably look at some video to see what it looked like prior to. So super slow motion elbow angle range of motion and see where it's, putting the pressure on that inside of his elbow. More than likely, he's already been pitching quite a bit or throwing quite a bit. So doing the bullpen session is just the next step in that. So I wouldn't expect any fireworks or any injuries to come out of it, and just make sure that he doesn't have pain afterwards and then progress from there.
And then what is the progress? 5 miles an hour faster, 100? I mean, what do they do to what are the steps like to get ready?
I think they use percentages. And so, whatever his 70% is, and then his 80%. So they're making sure he doesn't ratchet it up to 100, which I doubt he would because, he's torn that before. So he's not going to try to risk hurting it again. They'll probably actually have to push him a little bit more just from the mental aspect of knowing that it could tear. So they'll put him at 70, then 80, and then 90, and then hopefully up to 100 at some point.
Keeping in mind he just hit his 20th home run. Moving on, this time of the year is when those late season injuries start rounding into. They're going to be ready to play this season. We're getting word that Lions edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson has been fully cleared to return after a fractured tibia and fibula. We all saw it; it was gruesome. It happened in week 6, fully cleared. Is this the right time? I mean, that's a pretty significant injury.
Yeah, the fractures aren't, I know it sounds like a big deal, but they're not that big of a deal because bone heals really predictably, and it usually heals pretty fully. It's more, did he rupture any muscle tissue? Did he damage any ligaments when that happened? If it was just, quote unquote, a clean break, you're going to have some muscle damage, but if nothing was really torn or ripped off the bone, then you're looking at 6 to 12 weeks or something like that to be pretty much fully healed. And then it's just a matter of conditioning and getting back in shape. You're not likely to refracture that, just as long as you didn't injure other tissues around it.
I mean, that's significant for sure. Does the bone? I'd always been told that the bone heals up stronger. Like that part of the bone's the strongest part of the bone now.
No, not really. So you've got little cells called osteoblasts and osteoclasts, and they're constantly remodeling your bones along lines of stress. So the more, like, for example, if you're lifting a lot of weights and you're putting more stress on your bones, they're much, much stronger than a bone that's just healed from fracture, because it does create a callus, but that callus doesn't have the parallel lines that make it super strong. So it's kind of a misnomer. I think they tell people that to make them feel better that they're not going to break it again.
Maybe. One last, because this is a may or may not situation that I always find intriguing. Jaylen Brown, he was debuting his new shoe the other day and was asked about his knee. He's got some torn meniscus, and he says he's not sure. Some doctors say to get the surgery. Some say don't. When you hear about a guy waiting, what are the concerns about waiting, if there are any, other than the prolonged rehab? but can he just get on by, and what will be the time is there a drop-dead time to decide that?
Yeah, you think in medicine there'd be like clear black and white lines. There's not. There's a lot of gray area. So about 50% of people who have meniscus tears can end up not having surgery and be completely fine. As a matter of fact, they've done studies where they took 100 people that have meniscus tears. They did a sham surgery, just made kind of an incision, did nothing, and then they made a full surgery on the other people. So half had surgery, half didn't. They all thought they did. At 6 months, the outcomes were 100% the same, the exact same amount. So meniscus tears are one of those things, if it's in the wrong spot, creating a ton of inflammation and it's locking up on you, yeah, cut that out. But if it's like, oh, you got a meniscus tear, but I'm pretty functional, then let's try to just work through it.
That is absolutely interesting. Had no idea. That's why we have him here, Dr. Jason Garrett, along with all the other guests that come on by via the Barry's Barricade guest line. We want to thank you for stopping by. Thanks, Doc. Have a good week. We'll talk to you next.
Thanks, guys.
Dr. Jason Garrett. He arrived via the Buyers Barricade guest line. They provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. That's online at buyersbarricade.com. You know, I find it so interesting that there was a time, and I guess it was because the surgery was new, that because we didn't know you could fix that the way they could with the orthoscopic little tiny incision easy fixes, that if you had a torn meniscus, man, they were so excited. Everybody was so excited. Hey, we've got a fix for that. Let's get in there and fix it. You don't have to worry about rehab. There will be no unknown quantity that after these 6 weeks of hard work, you may or may not be ready. You better go get the surgery. That they studied to find out that after 6 months of equal rehab, the outcome was the same. That's crazy. That's modern science. I do appreciate that.
You don't know till you try it.
Absolutely. Right? But I'm of the era that as soon as there was any thought that it was a torn meniscus, get in there fast. It'll save you time. You'll get back quicker. Don't wait. That's a crazy turn. An absolutely crazy turn. All right, let's speaking of crazy turns, let's make a quick one. Now, in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to address a couple of things. We're certainly going to talk Oklahoma City tonight and try to figure out some way or another. Can Minnesota prolong the agony? Is there a way that they can find to get their way out? I have the answer. I just don't know if Chris French realizes it, and I'm going to tell you that just after the top of the hour. But I do want to kind of dovetail back to the Wemby situation and where the Spurs find themselves before we close the hour out. Now, Shams Charania was with Pat McAfee yesterday live outside of the Fieldhouse there in Indiana talking about the Spurs in general. And he brought up on McAfee some really good news for Spurs fans, because when you got money and when you got things that you can trade or sell, do you ever find that you want to go buy something, so you go to the store and you look and you look and you look and you look and you got the money in your pocket, you're ready to buy, you just can't find it. It just ain't there. Whether the money you have ain't enough for what you really want, you just don't have enough for that. And anything that's in your market, Well, the good news is the Spurs have money in their pocket and can afford anything in the store. And Sam Charania was talking about the setting for this offseason that is coming and how crazy it could be.
This is the most, I think, anticipation team executives have had over an offseason. I think this is going to be the craziest offseason of all. I don't want to say all time. We just came off a trade deadline that I think it was the craziest of all time. I think this offseason might be the most craziest ever. Probably Grammar Police is like it's craziest ever.
No, you got your point across. It's the most craziest ever.
Because I think what you have right now is you have the parity in the league. Sucks. It's so thin right now. Like, as far as the thin line of what you can win a championship or you might be falling into the lottery. And I think the ability to go out there and improve your team and get there to championship level, I think that's on the minds of everyone around the league. So how can you elevate your team?
It is so nice to know that. Because like I said, so many times you're in the market, but you're hamstrung because I just don't have enough money. I know there's things around me that would be exactly what I need and what I want. I just can't afford that. So do I settle? Spurs don't have to settle this year. There is literally nothing on the shelf that they can't afford. Now, it might be more than they want to spend, but they've got everything that they need to go get what they want. And that is a unique and absolutely unexpected situation to find themselves. And Sharani was talking earlier, and maybe we should pull it up. I want to This is Shams talking yesterday about, well, the Spurs in specifics and the big names like Giannis and Durant.
They also have a ton of assets. They have tradable contracts. They have the number 2 pick. They have the number 14 pick in this year's draft. They have a bunch of tradable picks as well moving forward. They have all their picks. So
El Jefe.
Whether there's a player like a Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think a Kevin Durant's another guy that the Spurs, there was mutual interest in at the deadline. I think they're going to be looking very actively to see, is there a wing player we can bring in that could take us over the top?
It's so rare to have the monetary wherewithal meet the opportunity of a lifetime. It just doesn't happen very often. And you just feel like if you just ride through the wave, no matter what you do, you really can't screw it up. But when I heard that little tidbit from Shams talking about the mutual interest between the Spurs and Kevin Durant at the deadline, that kind of turned my theory, my belief, that the Spurs were probably going to do nothing because they don't need to do anything, and they've done just fine in the past doing exactly this way. They're looking at Oklahoma City, the best team in the league, doing it that way, that they don't need to do that. But when I hear way back then that at the deadline, that did turn out to bring in De'Aaron Fox, which was, and still is to date, probably the second biggest trade in the history of the franchise. And I only say it's second because Gervin was involved in the first one. And there was a possibility of Durant and this mutual interest arriving. Now, I wonder, was it in tandem, or it was Durant and the interest waned and then it was Fox? Or was he suddenly interested when he found out Fox was coming? Now, if that's the case, my belief is out the window. If they were already thinking of swinging for the fences and bringing in De'Aaron Fox and Durant at the deadline before even knowing they had the number 2 pick, they just had 2 in the lottery, they hoped. What I believe is out the window. Because one thing I can tell you, Durant isn't going to be nearly as expensive as Giannis. Not even close. Giannis is going to cost a lot more. So if there was interest in Durant and he was interested here, I think his value, at least his cost, has already begun to dip. Especially as Giannis is the big fish now. So I wouldn't be opposed to a move with Durant, especially knowing that there was some talk. That might change the paradigm completely. Especially if there was conversation with the 2 at the same time. Now, the cost is coming. And having this discussion with old heads that have been standing next to the practice sidelines for 30 years, to the podcasters, to the national dudes, you know, there's an interesting dude that most of the outside world looks like at the Spurs and figures that he, of the others, is the untouchable one. That there's one guy that we never talk about that is really the dude that the Spurs should wrap and hide, because he does exactly what the championship caliber teams are doing now, at least one of them. He does exactly. He's already in the building. He's cheap. He's already here. We don't need to worry about him. Why search? And it ain't the guy that you think it is. Or maybe it's not. If you're an astute mind, you might think about it. He's a guy that I saw on social medias yesterday, floating around having a good time on vacation. I think at the end of the day, when we watch what's going on in Oklahoma City and we see what they're doing to win a title, we hear Shams say this is going to be one wild offseason and there's nobody with more money and more components than the Spurs, that we are going to say goodbye to dudes we really like if there is a move made. But it might be a dude that stays that we might be surprised with. It might be the guy at the end of the day that we couldn't figure out what to do with that ends up being the ideal piece, and that name is Jeremy Sohan. When you look at what's going on in Oklahoma City, when you look, and to some extent, certainly, the way that Anunoby is used with the Knicks, a guy that does everything, but mostly he does defense. That just whoever he guards has a night down. Whoever he is, it's off night. And Jeremy has been that guy from the get-go. Devin can shoot. Keldon can hustle and spark. But Jeremy plays defense on a level at which nobody else on this team does. And that might make him absolutely unstoppable. And maybe, not unstoppable, not that term, but unmovable. A guy that is a luxury to good teams, a necessity for great teams, is already in the building. And his name is Jeremy Sochan. So as we start looking at these massive opportunities to go get some dudes, it might be waving goodbye to one or two of the ones that we thought were next to untouchable. Certainly touchable, but the least one that we wanted to get rid of. It might end up being Jeremy Sochan, because look at how being able to defend a mobile post has mattered in these playoffs. It mattered when Caruso shut down Joker. It mattered when no one could stop Karl Anthony. It matters. And the guys, the Spurs already got that dude. The leftover dude, the guy that they tried to do a bunch of different things, but the one consistent has always been the defense he played. We'll talk about that. We're going to look at Oklahoma City and what they got to do. Or really, we should put it this way. What is Minnesota going to have to do to keep themselves from going on vacation? What are they going to do to go into enemy territory and try to salvage what will be the last hurrah for this iteration of the Timberwolves? Because everybody on that roster knows this was supposed to be the title team. And when this season is done, and it could be tonight, this team will be no more. Oh, we got so much more to do. Thank goodness we got a whole other hour to do it. Hang around with us. There's a lot to do. And I got stick figure tickets to those that are hardy enough to hang with us. It's the Morning Huddle. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Talk.
KTFM Floresville, your home for the Super Bowl. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for. From smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
If you have a lot of shopping to do for summer, then you're actually in luck. Because at Macy's, the latest designer trends are here now. From swim and sandals to match sets and linen suits, all for 20% off. But get this, spend $100 and get 25% off. Spend $200 and get 30% off. 30%. So the bigger your summer, the better. Because the more you buy, the more you save. But hurry, it all starts Thursday at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC, used with permission.
Do you disregard people's personal space? Sitting next to people in public, even if there are tons of open seats? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. There's still time. Come to Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale and get a queen mattress and adjustable base for just $399.99. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Hunger striking, snack time calling, it's crunch time. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds brings you the boldest protein-packed crunch you can't resist with mouth-watering flavors like hot honey, sweet barbecue, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Why settle for chips when you can level up your snacking game? Plus, they're low-carb, high-protein, and made for adventurous appetites. Score big flavor today. Grab Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds at H-E-B.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell & Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy.
San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We have had a heck of a morning rush hour. Looks like we're starting to get through it now. A lot of the flooding, all that high water is now starting to recede in areas, so that's a good thing. Just still be very careful as you head out and about. Still working this trouble spot on 281 southbound at Dunella. That stall is in the center lane. I-10 eastbound Camp Bullis. That's a stalled 18-wheeler. We do have a wrecker on scene, so hopefully this will clear soon. Still have 2 right lanes blocked. Now, if you guys see something we're not talking about, call us on the traffic tip line 210-785-2601. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The NBA playoffs rolled on last night as the Indiana Pacers were the first home team to take a win, taking the Knicks down 130-121 behind Tyrese Haliburton's historic 32 points, 12 rebounds, 15 assists, and 4 steals. He also parked cars and served hot dogs. Tonight is Game 5 in the Western Conference Finals as the T-Wolves face a must-win situation. Tip set for 7:30 right here on San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center brought to you by Synergenics. Book your appointment at FixMyLowTeam.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, huddle up! I'm the fat guy in the middle. Come around me. The Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. AJ shall return in full tomorrow. He's in transit today, bringing the fam to the motherland, as it were. We got a full hour to do. We got a closeout tonight, possible closeout tomorrow night. We got some hockey potential closeouts, lots of stuff finding its way to the end of the season. And as the season ends, so does football begin. Lots of college football talk. We're going to try to hit on it all rather rapid fire in this next hour. And as you head into work or figure out how to get there because of high water, remember, if you see it, turn around. You got plenty of time. And for the love of God, turn your hazards off. No, you don't need to be driving around with your hazards. This is a debate that is worthy of discussion, and I'm going to bring it up again tomorrow. when AJ comes back. But to catch up on all of this, I'm not going to go too far into it, but I know I'm right, despite the fact that the Brigade Bar in mass told me I'm wrong, which makes me think I'm even more right. Go back and check out, and just decide for yourself who's correct. It's on our YouTube feed. We'll have it on sasportstar.com, as we have it all the time. Go check that out and weigh in on a debate that I think is worthy, considering what I went through personally. And really, it all comes down to me this morning. And by the way, Vic's on the wrong side.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite.
Yeah, he's on. Well, I shouldn't say wrong. Well, no, I will. You're on the wrong side. Other would be the better word.
Well, it's just one man's opinion.
Yeah, it is. And I'm just one man, one right man, with a very powerful kitty cat in my hands. My co-host today for the rest of the day, there he is. That's Kitty Big Balls. We fixed his ear. He's remarkably lifelike.
Right?
Did you
I think I freaked out Edwin.
Oh, I think it did too. Did you see the story about the Annabelle doll?
Wait, no.
That
sounds familiar.
The Annabelle doll was here in San Antonio. The possessed doll.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Was here in San Antonio in some kind of display case. And it vanished. Now, the doll itself looks like a Raggedy Ann doll that disappeared, right? Yeah. It's not that scary-looking porcelain one, the real-life one.
Yeah.
But this is a haunted doll that evidently disappeared. And then on all the socials, it just showed Annabelle gaining weight and eating tacos. So Annabelle gone full sucia. She got full, but she hadn't been here 36 hours, just hanging out in Market Square, barefooted. Gordita in one hand and and a tall michelada in the other. So if you happen to stumble upon a haunted doll, authorities say do not approach. You might end up in hell.
Just leave it alone.
So just, every now and again, I look over at KBB, and, we hired the very best taxidermist money could buy that would take care of a cat. And he's pretty darn lifelike.
I'm impressed.
Got the creepy, spookity eyes. He follows you around the room.
Yeah, it's got a kitty big ball cam.
The kitty big ball cam. I'm pretty sure when we're not here, he comes to life.
Yeah.
And haunts.
I activate the cameras when the Blitz are here, so we know what they do.
Well, they're bad-mouthing KBB, and that, much like finding an Annabelle doll, isn't probably the healthiest thing to do. But KBB lived a hard life beforehand, and now has been memorialized, stuffed and full of sawdust, and is now our de facto. No, not poor. He lives on in power. The greatness is in the legend, not in the life. Because we can write the legend, and we'll write it, because KBB is far bigger than you or me, or just the show. Not quite as big as James Pledger. How would you beat the Oklahoma City Thunders on the road? That's what Chris Finch and fam all the last 36 hours, the last week and a half, have been trying to figure out. I heard post-game last night, Tyrese Haliburton said, this is a 13-day war. That when we come into it, we don't look at it by game. We know we got 13 days of war, and we hope to survive. We want the war to end early, but if it goes the way we expect, it's going to be 13 days. Well, this ain't going to go 13 days. And the most difficult thing to do in professional basketball is to close a team out when they're at home. That's the most difficult thing to do. The second most difficult thing to do is just to close out any team in the conference finals. These guys know how to win. These guys have won lots of games before. These guys are full of superstars. You can't give an inch. And now they're coming to save their very career. And some of these guys are looking for another playoff check. But that's the second most difficult thing to do. Oklahoma City has a home game playing a team that they have dominated for, 200 minutes. 240. I mean, they fell apart. They had one bad game. And even that wasn't awful, but it was pretty bad. Their star didn't pan. But other than that, they have owned them. And the expectation is, what are you going to do? Well, the only thing Minnesota can do is try to cut the head off the snake. In my mind, you cannot let Shea get 30. You just can't. And you can't foul him either, because he'll get 30 from the line. He's the merchant. Even Doris has told us that. So the only thing you can do is deny and jump, in my mind. You deny the ball when he doesn't have it and make sure there's at least a man between him and the ball at all times. And then you jump him if he brings the ball up. You don't let him get past the timeline. You double him. You go out and get the ball out of his hands and hope the others aren't up to the task. And you're grasping at straws for sure. I mean, you're hoping for a bad game from the MVP. And a bad game would be not finding the open man or the correct open guy, or forcing shots where it's not required, or chasing fouls where the ref ain't going to give it to you tonight because it's a closeout game, baby. You're going to have to go above and beyond. And I do expect that's going to be part of it tonight, that Shea Gilgeous ain't going to be the merchant. I don't think the refs are going to give him the benefit. If it's close, they ain't getting the call, because this is a closeout game. This matters. So I don't think it'll be that easy. So if I'm Finch, number one, I get the ball out of Shea's hands as fast as possible, and then the problem sets in. Now the strategy hits in. You got to keep that double. You can't leave him. So you're going to have to stay doubled, and you can hope that your 3 defenders can defend the other 4, at least long enough for them to make a mistake. That's the primary problem that they run into. So defensively, I jump on Shea. What do you think? The Brigade Bar is an ideal place to do that. Go to YouTube. Make sure you're putting a thumb on it and comment. What do you think you would do? The second thing I do, I got to speed the game up, man. I got to keep my others active. I got to do everything I can to divert attention from my star and speed it up. That means guys like Terrence Shannon need to get some more time. He was instant offense. He's a turnover machine, but at the very least, he's going to score you some buckets. So I got to add some more offense. I played Terrence Shannon, and I might even bring in my draft pick. Might even bring in the other kid I brought in, the guy that passed to the Spurs, Dillingham. So turn up the volume, turn up the speed, and try to cut the head off the snake and hope for the best, because that's all you got. And maybe you get a ref or two who's kind of hoping to get another paycheck in Minnesota. I think that's the only prayer. I think they're so much farther behind the Thunder than the Knicks are behind the Pacers. I think it is night and day. Your star didn't show up. The inadequacies of your other bigs have been made very apparent. Your front-running second scorer has been proven to be exactly what everybody told you he was before you made the deal, a front runner that plays great when everything else is going great, but when there's problems, for whatever reason, Julius just can't bring it. So you're going to have to just step it up and know full well that the evaluation process over the next couple of weeks is going to get painful in Minneapolis. They're going to have to eat some salary they don't want to if they're going to have to improve, because this team has plateaued. There's nothing more for them to do. They made a deal that did not benefit them last year in an effort to get further this year, and they're worse for it. So a team like that is dangerous. It's the second most difficult thing in sports to do, and the thing you're asking your team to do hadn't been done. Nobody been able to shut down Shea but Shea. Now, you got a good print. You got a good idea the other day. Your last home game, your only win. But I think that was more about just general attitude inside of a home court than it was strategy and execution. I just think that there was just too much for a team that has shown to be pretty consistent in losing game 3. So I think this was just about over. Tomorrow night, a little bit of a different story because of the locale, but probably the same outcome. Probably the same. Let's look around the rest of the sporting world. There's lots of stuff going on. Caitlin's on the bench for a couple of weeks. College football's trying to figure out when guys can come and go. And still a lot of talk about a Dallas Cowboy running back who says he's all the way in. We're going to cover all that and more on the other side, so don't go anywhere. You're going to be well-informed and highly entertained. It's the Morning Huddle, and it's 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I hope you woke up this morning feeling good, nothing painful and keeping you out of your life. If that's you, keep it to yourself, because so many of us are dealing with things that just quite frankly always hurt. And you know what it is. It might be a frozen shoulder. Maybe it's something on a lower back issue that it's always hurting. And it just, when you think about going to do something, you go, man, I just don't want to do it. The price to pay is too painful. If that's your life, stop, because there's a fix. It's called Arasti. These providers are all around San Antonio, highly trained medical experts with one goal in mind, and that's to get you out of pain as fast as possible. And they're so successful because they do it in ways you might not think, because it has nothing to do with something to deaden or hide the pain. No painkillers like that. It's not about surgery to prolong and maybe even worse, make the pain even worse. I'm talking about your body fixing itself. So if you're dealing with a soft tissue injury, a sprain, or a pull, my goodness, Arasti can fix it. That's what pro athletes are using. Maybe it's a lower back issue. Maybe it's plantar fasciitis or tension headaches. My goodness, Arasti can fix it and fix it fast. You never need a referral. You can go see them today. The number is 1-800-404-6050. If you need a map of the providers, it's at their website, Arasti.com. I bet there's one less than 10 minutes from where you are now. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. The fix is there. It's called Arasti. Call them now, and you can thank me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Working a few trouble spots as you head into your midday commute. Had a heck of a morning rush hour. I-10 eastbound at Crossroads, that stall is taking up a right lane. On 35 southbound, that off-ramp to Schertz Parkway, the off-ramp partially blocked still. Have some ponding water in the area. And this wreck at 1604 westbound Bulverde Road has been moved off a main lane and now off to your right shoulder. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Celebrate youth sports with the San Antonio Brahmas. The Herd returns to the Alamo Dome Sunday, June 1st to take on the Arlington Renegades in their final home game of the season. Celebrate the future of sports as they highlight young athletes, players, and coaches in their Celebrate Youth Sports game. Bring the family and enjoy the fun with local community mascots, a halftime youth flag football showcase, and of course, Brahmas football. Get your tickets at UFLBrahmas.com. That's UFLBrahmas.com. Our town, our team, our herd.
Gomez Law Firm has been fighting for the rights of San Antonians for 50 years. We have Jose with the Gomez Law Firm here. What is something you see often as a personal injury attorney and protecting your clients?
The one thing we always see without fault in a case is that the insurance company will always reach out to them soon after the collision, and they try to get them to agree to a low settlement. They try to get them to agree to signing a piece of paper. They want them essentially to sign their rights away without ever even consulting with an attorney. Right? In the grand scheme of things, if you sign a piece of paper, you're signing your future interest away. So that's why it's so important to call the Gomez Law Firm, because we make sure we protect your rights, and you're not signing your life away, you're not signing your rights away.
If you or your family have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then call the Gomez Law Firm first. 210-736-4040 or visit joegomezlaw.com. Protect your family and protect your rights.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
I can't believe they're moving the team to another city.
True, but you'll never forget all the joy they brought into your life.
Joy? They made the playoffs twice in 50 years.
Gosh, those 2 times were pretty great, weren't they?
How would I know? I wasn't even born yet.
Just think of all the free time you'll have on game days.
Those games were the highlight of my week.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Hey, listen up, San Antonio. Multiple tours overseas, long nights monitoring cyber activity, years of protecting the country. It all adds up at University of Maryland Global Campus. Earn up to 90 credits for prior learning, military experience, and training. We call that credit where credit is due. Whether you're active duty and looking at what's next, or a veteran looking for something new, our degrees and certificate programs teach the application of emerging technologies and enduring life skills. So get started on a degree or certificate with personalized local support services and online and hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. At UMGC, you'll find everything from online to hybrid courses and lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Apply now and save with no application fee through May 30th. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATX.
Progressive has great customer service, and it's easy to reach us because great and easy is the way to be. Like salads, great for you, and so easy you can put any group of veggies in a bowl and it's a salad. A full carrot with a head of cabbage, weird, but still a salad. 1 radish and a couple of green beans, also a salad. 14 blueberries, half an onion, and a sunchoke, odd, yes, but an odd salad. So contact Progressive's customer service by phone, app, or online. It's great and easy, just like salad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime! Ordinarily on days like this, which is days that end in Y, AJ likes to go through the news of the weird. Those offbeat stories that I don't know where he finds them.
I think it's just
I don't know where
goes to him. Right?
Maybe he's just part of the crimes and he knows what's going on.
Maybe
I don't,
he did it right.
But I don't know where to find them, so we're not going to do that. It'll pick up in earnest again tomorrow. Let's get you to work or get you around the day knowing all things that are happening. Tyrese Haliburton had a phenomenal game last night. It was really one for the ages. He's already had one of those shots for the ages that is going to be played in every playoff montage for the next 10 years when he hit the 2, not the 3, that could have been one of those earth-shaking shots, but he hit the 2 to tie the game in, I guess that was game 2. But last night, his exploits were beyond belief. The 0 turnovers is one of those things that you can't really quantify, or you don't really adore until it's your guy that's doing it. I mean, to be accountable for all of those points, both by your own hand and by your assist, and to give the other team nothing is a ridiculous and just about unheard of. Because now, granted, I've never was and never pretended to be anything on the level like him. But I've had coaches in my day look at me and go, and looking for this sense of commission. And if I didn't turn the ball over, or if I hadn't done something, because, man, you're not trying. You're not living on that edge where I want you to be, where a mistake could be imminent. I want you to choose not to, but I want you to be out there. And if you're not all the way out there, you're not all the way in. So sometimes a turnover or a foul every now and then says, at least you're giving me as much effort as you're capable of. And for him not to turn the ball over at all, he's in the realm of the Big O, the Oscar Robertsons. As we celebrate today's Jerry West's birthday, by the way, if you
Nice.
want to celebrate the logo. I imagine there will be talk radio stations around the country discussing whether the logo should remain him or maybe we.
Leave it alone.
I don't think we should either, especially on the man's birthday. I don't think we should even discuss it. It's also Jim Thorpe's birthday. People go, who? He was the Native American that came out of Pennsylvania, was an Olympian football player, one of the greatest athletes.
He was the guy that ran with the shoes?
Yeah, he was
barefoot.
barefoot.
Yeah.
His legend continues to stick around. Wow. Caitlin Clark's going to be out for a couple of weeks. She has a strained quad. The Indiana Fever will carry on without. This couldn't have happened at a better time. Caitlin needs to kind of, whether it's by injury or by load management, as they would use in the NBA, I think things are running a little hot with Caitlin. I think they just need to kind of cool down. Did you see Terry Bradshaw hanging Aaron Rodgers out to dry?
I saw a little bit of it.
You know,
I almost didn't recognize him. I was like, is that Terry? Jeez.
Bradshaw was on an interview with 103.7 The Buzz in Arkansas on Tuesday.
Okay.
And he blew up his former team, the Steelers, for trying to sign Aaron Rodgers. And, you know, there's nothing more dangerous. And what does Chris Rock say? More racist.
Yeah.
Than an old black man or an old white man. Well, there's nobody more honest than an old quarterback like Terry Bradshaw, who was never given the credit he was due while he played. People don't, most of the people that were Terry Bradshaw football fans are dead now, sadly. But in my early years, Terry Bradshaw was always figured out, they called him a rube. He was dumb. The nickname that he carried was not the way he played on the field. And most of his early career, he was thought of as kind of like a goofy country boy, and in competition with guys like Roger Staubach, who'd gone to the Naval Academy and stood tall and represented America. Terry is out of Louisiana and sounded like a country bumpkin missing a tooth. So he comes to this, seriously. So he comes to this with a bit of a chip on his shoulder because Aaron has always been treated like an erudite genius who is capable of doing miracle things while on hallucinogenics. I'm not surprised he blew up the Steelers for that. And I think his opinion carries some weight with the Rooney family. Not enough to change things. But it's interesting to see. Sean Kemp, remember him of the day?
Oh, yeah.
Pled out. He pled guilty to an assault charge on Tuesday. He shot two men inside a vehicle in a Washington state and up in Seattle, a mall parking lot a couple years back in March of 2023. Neither one of the men were hurt. He shot a lot like his jump shot. It was close, but it rimmed out.
Yeah.
Six-time NBA All-Star, played for the Sonics from 89 to 97, was the Rain Man, if you recall. Mm-hmm. Sean said he's committed to moving forward in a positive direction. That's his attorney telling the story. He was presented with an offer from the state that allows him to take responsibility, but at the same time not really pay for it very drastically. According to court documents filed by the attorneys, he was at a cannabis dispensary. And normally walking out of a cannabis dispensary, there's not a lot of gunplay.
Usually in a good mood, right?
Normally people got places to go, like the hot dog stand right around the corner.
Yeah. But you're in a good mood generally.
And that's what I'm saying.
Leave,
normally,
right? You shouldn't be upset.
Now, sometimes in the acquisition of such illicit things, there's gunplay. But normally,
right? Yeah.
Once that's all taken care of, it's pretty friendly. I've been told anyway. Didn't go that well. There was a purse was stolen in all this. It was just a big mess. Now they seem to be getting it behind them. The PGA Tour had this weird, for those that pay attention, the PGA Tour is eliminating the starting strokes format of the Tour Championship. You start out with, depending on your record. I never quite understood it. Like, the advisory council has decided that last year's idea was not a very good one. That guys starting with like 10 under on the first hole, according to how they played previously, I don't understand it. It didn't make any sense to me, and it's going away. So no need to describe it. because it's now a thing of the past. So the at least the PGA is keeping their ears to the ground and keeping everybody on pace to stay relevant, as at the very least, at least the livers have made them pay attention to their fans. I don't know if the live has existed, people, if they'd have changed or done anything, but at least they're trying. I'll give them that. It was just a bad idea in the offing. This will be a topic of conversation for the next several days. The 2025 Football Power Index is out. Who do you think's number one, Vic?
Let's see. I'm just going to say, I don't know, Chiefs?
Well, they're two. The reigning champs are Eagles are number one. Second, the Chiefs, Ravens, Lions, Bills, Commanders, Bengals, Packers, Chargers, and Rams build out your top 10. The Dallas Cowboys come in at 18. Your Houston Texans come in at 13. The numbers and why will be a topic of great discussion over the next several days. I'm sure the Blitz will hammer that home quite closely. I'm very interested to see why the Cowboys are where they are. So lots of discussion. That is out right now. That's the current news to keep you abreast as you're heading to where you need to be. Hey, coming back, more to talk about. Big basketball game tonight. We're talking OKC. We're talking Minnesota. And are we talking the end of the Western Conference Finals? We'll get back at that. And then, of course, I've got lots to give away with a concert show coming up. A concert show, Vic. Stick Figure. Yeah. They're a reggae band from California. I know that because it's on my paper. Yeah. They're going to come to San Antonio on June the 29th at the beautiful Germania Amphitheater. It's part of the Live Nation $30 ticket summer, and we're going to have tickets for you to have in about 7 minutes. Hold on tight. I want you to go. It's 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Dr. Jacob Torres and the Institute for Functional Health play let's be real. They have played the best part of my life over the last 8 years. See, when I first met Dr. Torres, first walked in to the Institute, I weighed 300 pounds. I'm not proud of it. I was wearing 3X shirts and big old belts, and I thought that was what my life was going to be because I had no ability to lose weight. Didn't think I could, really didn't want to. I just knew I didn't feel good anymore. Dr. Torres looked me straight in my bleary eyes and said, I can fix it, but you're going to have to buy in. But if you'll listen to what I have to say and do what I ask you to do, you will lose weight and you will feel better, and you will feel better fast. Now, he never wanted to get me off a medication that I needed to take. But man, oh man, if there was something that I could lose weight to get off of, that's the first thing we addressed, and I'll be darned if he wasn't right. And I want that for you. I want you to feel better. I want you to lose weight. I want you to look better and raise your self-esteem. The number to call is 210-468-1891. His website is iffhealth.com. Call him and talk to him. He would love to explain to you why he's so successful. If it's time for you to lose weight, if you want to feel better and not worry about shots and glutides and all of that, do it the old-fashioned way. Call Dr. Torres today. He'll change your life. And when he does, bring your skinny self over and you can thank me later.
If you missed the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you missed this.
See, I think you could have written a country song about this.
Absolutely.
Did you come up with... Marcy, I'm talking directly to you. We need a song about Kitty... What's its name? Kitty Big Balls. Sounds like a country song.
KBB for short.
Kitty Big Balls.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. Jason Minix here from San Antonio Sports Star. You can do that with Orchard. Orchard puts cash into your pockets. You can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday one. Then you buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday two. Learn how you can make more with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Progressive has great customer service, and it's easy to reach us because great and easy is the way to be. Like salads. Great for you, and so easy you can put any group of veggies in a bowl and it's a salad. A full carrot with a head of cabbage? Weird, but still a salad. 1 radish and a couple of green beans? Also a salad. 14 blueberries, half an onion, and a sunchoke? Odd, yes, but an odd salad. So contact Progressive's customer service by phone, app, or online. It's great and easy, just like salad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
This is Jason Minix from The Blitz, and you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Delightful.
Yeah.
You know, the groove is in your heart. And Bootsy Collins thumping the bass, baby.
Good stuff.
Jamming on the one on the Morning Huddle. See, I could hit the post, too. Hey, congratulations to the Burnt Bean. You see this?
No, what happened?
Burnt Bean Barbecue, according to Texas Monthly. And I do trust the Texas Monthly knows of what they speak.
Okay.
Especially David Vaughn, who is the Texas Monthly barbecue connoisseur, the expert in such matters, has named the Burnt Bean Barbecue Company of beautiful Seguin, Texas, the number one barbecue place in this great state, which by my math tells me that's the greatest barbecue joint in the world, right there in Seguin. Congratulations.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Well done. Mm-hmm. You know, AJ had the wherewithal at some point back, traveled the state and hit, I think, the top 50 barbecue joints around our great.
Doesn't he have an app?
He does. He does. Don't we all have an app? The top 10, Evie Mae's Pit Barbecue. This is in Wolforth, Texas. Comes in at 10. Truth Barbecue. Now, I've had that. That's in Houston.
Okay.
Comes in at 9. Lavaca Barbecue in Port Lavaca, Texas. Comes in at 8. Dane's Craft Barbecue. They're in Aledo, Texas. Where is Aledo?
Far.
Another
far.
Interstellar Barbecue. That have not had that one. Comes in at 6. Number 5, GW's Barbecue in San Juan, Texas. Redbird Barbecue comes in at 4. They're down in Port Neches. Boy, the southeastern coastline got some good barbecue cooking. Goldie's Barbecue in Fort Worth, legendary. Of course, they're on the list. Leroy and Lewis Barbecue, that is your third Austin barbecue, I guess rightfully so. It comes in at number 2, but number 1 overall, the Burnt Bean. Congratulations to the pit master, the master of all he surveys, David Kirkland. They used oak offset wood and do some fried rotisserie smokers as well. Burnt Bean, worth the trip. Because like I said, if you're the best in Texas, you're the best in the world. And they are worth the trip. Well, I do think we're going to have a closeout tonight. I think
so?
They just need to do it already. And it's so upset. And I'm not upset of what's happened. The best team should be going, and Oklahoma City is far and away. But when I watch what Minnesota, first they tried to do, and in the offseason, after last year losing to the Mavericks in the conference finals, they went all in. GM, owner, coach decided we're going to trade our second best player to kind of get over the hump. I give them all the credit in the world for the attempt, for the try. They did what they thought was necessary to bring a winner home, and it didn't work. It didn't work. Sucks. And I applaud you for your effort, but I fire you for your failure. I give you a hearty handshake, man. At least you tried. But you took an exit when you shouldn't have, and now the price is going to be paid. In this franchise, they were forestalling the inevitable, but they're not going to get out of this, and they're going to have to fix some stuff. They know one thing, that they have Anthony Edwards. After that, I think every question needs to be answered, and first and foremost, they got to dig up some money for a point guard. Go find one. Offer Chris Paul the world. That being said, how are they going to get out tonight? Cut the head off the snake. Make somebody else beat you. Let Jay Will take shots. Maybe he becomes a star in front of your eyes. Maybe he gets that next step, and he's got his own phone company commercial after the game tonight. But I'd rather him beat me than Shai Gilgeous. That's easy. That dude's getting 30 a night and throwing in 15 assists and 8 rebounds and a couple steals, and also doing what Haliburton did last night, selling popcorn. He's the MVP. I got a text from a friend of mine. Said, well, that's why he's the MVP. You're not going to stop him. That's why they keep winning games by 10 points or better all season long, because everybody's trying to take the head off the snake, and that's exactly what Dagnall has coached their team to be ready for, that you can't do it, that Shai is too willing to do the old Spurs axiom, good to better, better to best, that the attempt is futile because that's the plan. Maybe, but when I'm down 3-1, I got to try something. If I'm Finch, I'm dedicating a couple of guards to Shai. You never leave him. You jump him when he comes across half court, especially if he brings the ball up, and once he gives it up, he never gets it back. And you work until you can't do it anymore. Your guys foul out. That's your only prayer. Make somebody else beat you has to be the mantra all night long. And the outcome will be, no matter what you do, OKC going. And, the sad thing about all this is I watch yet again another pundit, Stephen A., now going after Ant-Man again, saying that he didn't – well, Anthony told everybody post-game, I didn't struggle. I did what I was supposed to do. I did what I'm supposed to do when I'm doubled. When they come at me, when they jump me, that tells me that I now have 3 offensive dudes and 2 defensive dudes. I should win the math. My others are supposed to step up. Well, you need to put Shai in that same position. You need to let Shai feel like Anthony Edwards, that he can't turn around without seeing an OKC Thunder jersey. He can't put his hand in his pocket without feeling Alex Caruso caressing his ass. He cannot move down court. That's what he's going to have to feel. And they're going to have to do the same thing to Gilgeous, or they have no prayer. And the thing about this is you're going to have to ask some superstars to do some grunt work, to pick up a couple of fouls, to muck things up. And you're going to have to ask a couple of rookies or ranked young dudes to go do some stuff above their pay rate. Terrence Shannon, you're going to get some very important minutes tonight. And I say important not only because of tonight, but after the Julius Randle failure, you could be his heir apparent, and a good game tonight could set you well on your way. So there's some offense, there's some speed. This is how we get it done. Can you get it done? No, they're not going to be able to. And they're going to have to completely retool. And Oklahoma City will roll on. Last night, the Pacers played the kind of game that the Pacers needed to play at home. didn't make any mistakes, and let their superstar carry them home. That's what OKC is going to do tonight. Don't make any mistakes and let your superstar carry you home. And that doesn't mean that he has to score 35 or 40 or whatever. That's just let him carry your home by his deed, and that would be hit the shots he allows you to take, attack when he backs off, and go get a rebound when he's at the line at the free throw line, because he's going to do his best to get there. But I get the sense that tonight, maybe just tonight, I don't think Shea gets the benefit of the doubt. In these closeout games, the refs know what's on the line. They know that the TV network would love a Game 6 and then a Game 7.
Oh, yeah, the more
the
more money.
So you're up against more than just the other team. You got to be, what did Ric Flair always say? To be the man, you got to beat the man. And sometimes the man brings help. And the man tonight might be the guy in stripes. I don't think Shea is going to get the benefit of the doubt tonight, especially late in the game if the game is tight. They're going to make him go earn it. Because one thing, it will help to shape maybe the one negative to his game in that he is able to manufacture points when a shot isn't available. He is an expert at drawing fouls. Good, bad, or indifferent. It's a skill. It's one a lot of players wish they had, but it's boring, and no one likes to see one dude get 15, 18, 20 free throws a game. Oh, they'll wind it down, and we're going to have a good run. We'll see what Minnesota can do. We'll talk about how they're going to do it and if you can make any money on it next. Coming back, let's close this show out with ways to pad your bank account. The Daily Line's coming. It won't be any fun unless you're with us. We'll be right back. It's 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle's look at the Daily Lines with AJ and Rob on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You covered, yeah!
We adjust mics. It's the same band, just a different wig. I'm the YouTube version of AJ. We call it the Daily Lines every day because that's what they are.
Hey, before that, you want to give away the stick figure
No,
tickets?
let's finish that up. I want to talk about stick figure in a second. So,
Okay.
You know what? We only have about 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Let's just do the stick figure now, but I want people. So Stick Figure's a reggae band. They're coming to the Germania. This summer, we've got a Live Nation Summer Concert Series, $30 tickets, great deals. You don't even have to pay that. Get on the phone right now. Caller number 4, going to go see Stick Figure at the Germania on June the 29th, a sunny day and an open air and a little bit of reggae vibes passing through. I might go see that.
Right.
The last reggae show I saw in San Antonio was back, I think, in 1985.
Oh, wow.
It was down at where the downtown UTSA campus is.
See. Okay.
It was called, I think it was called Fiesta Plaza. It was an ill-fated mall
I can't remember.
on the other side of the tracks. They called it the Pink Elephant, was what it was called, because it was painted pink.
That. Yeah.
And they had a reggae festival in there. It had like...
I remember one in Austin a while back that I was
That
invited
used to be called
to.
Sunsplash, I think.
Yes. Yeah. I just never went, but I was invited.
Yeah,
to it.
I was culturally appropriating back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't looked down on back then. Now I get it. But back then it was just a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Went and saw a band. It had Ziggy Marley was there, and a band called Third World.
Okay.
It turned out to be one of the larger drug stings in the history of San Antonio.
I was going to say.
I mean, I guess the police saw a reggae festival in the middle of 85. There might be a fair amount of the ganja floating around, and there were large
they
patio.
were correct.
So by the time you went through the gauntlet of cops, there was like 8 people standing around the show. I'm sure this one will be far better. So get on the phone and go do that. Let's talk about how we're going to win some money over the evening. First and foremost, tonight's game, if you believe like I do that Minnesota is going to be a very difficult out. It's just so absolutely hard to get a team out of the playoffs, especially one that has been here and done it like they have. So if you believe it's going to be a little bit tougher, I think I look at my superstars are going to have to do it, and my others are going to have to do it. But how much is who's going to do one? I like First and foremost, we're doing DFS. Looking at Anthony Edwards, I show 27.5 points. You think he's going to get 28? I don't. I go less. Yeah, I just don't think he's got it in him. But on the other side of that, if they are going to be competitive, Jaden McDaniels combined a total of 20 for points, rebounds, and assists. I go more on that because I do think the others are going to have to succeed, and Jaden has had that. So now one more, and we're talking some serious money when we're getting on the prize picks. And the easiest one for me is, what do you expect from the MVP himself? Do you expect he's going to do everything? You think he's got 33 in him? I'm going to go down. I'm going to go beneath. I'm going to go less than 33. I think that the way that you're going to do it is at least limit his touches. It might not win the game, but at least he won't be the one that ends it. So there's your DFS. Your daily, the Thunder are favored by 8.5. There will be no comeback in this game. If the Thunder have an 8-point lead to start the fourth, they're going to have a 9-point lead to close it. So if you like the Thunder, they're going to cover. I think they are going to actually cover. I think this gets ugly late. I think that Minnesota's going to throw a bunch against the wall. They're going to play some guys that might not be used to playing with some other guys, which lends itself to turnovers, which lends itself to quick spurts. I like not only the 8.5, I like the total at 220.5. I think it'll go over that as well. Along the Major Baseball world, Clayton Kershaw will be on the hill with the Dodgers, taking on the Guardians. I'm glad. I didn't know Kershaw was back. We should have spent some more time with that. The Dodgers are minus 155, total at 8.5. The White Sox, well, they're in New York taking on the Mets. That's always a thrilling battle. It's minus 1.5 if you're a Mets fan, 7.5 over. Moving along, the Boston Red Sox are in Milwaukee. Up on the hill for the Sox, who do we have here? Brian Bello. Freddie Peralta for Milwaukee with his 5-3 record. Maybe this is one Milwaukee will get. To San Francisco in Detroit to take on the Tigers. Up on the hill, Landon Roop will be up with his 3-3 record. Jackson Jobe and his 35 Ks up for Detroit. There we are, Houston. The A's in Houston tonight. Who's on the hill? We got Luis Severino taking on Lance McCullers. 14 Ks for Lance so far this year, 0-1. Severino having not quite the stellar year, but you do like the way the A's are playing recently. The Pirates and the Diamondbacks, Pittsburgh in Arizona to take on the D-backs. One of our favorite dudes, it's Skeens Day. Paul Skeens up on the hill taking on Zach Gallen. Pittsburgh plus 1.5. 7.5 your run total. I like the under there if you were paying attention. The Marlins are in San Diego to take on the Pods. Marlins bring in Sandy Alcantara, Kyle Hart standing for the Pods. Moving down, Atlanta heading into Philadelphia. We got the law firm standing up for Atlanta, A.J. Smith-Shawyer taking on Zach Wheeler for the Phillies. Zach 6-1. Might want to ride that wave. Cincinnati in Kansas City to take on the Royals. Cincinnati bringing to the fight Hunter Green. Noah Cameron on the dot for the Kansas City Royals. Colorado and their stellar team up in Chicago for their latest defeat. Tanner Gordon standing up for the Rockies. The Cubs bringing us Matthew Boyd, and they're 4-2. I think there's some money here. They're plus 2.5 are the Rockies, and the over at 7.5. I like that one a lot. Washington on the road, cross-country trip, take the Nationals into Seattle. Trevor Williams up on the hill, his 2-5 record, taking on George Kirby at 0-1. Maybe Trevor can rest some of this Washington terrible season out. In hockey, the Florida Panthers, prohibitive favorites, minus 125. Total at 5.5. Florida leads the series 3-1. This could be the very end of this. Sergei Bobsky is expected in goal, along with Frederick Anderson also expected. No real injuries to be completely worried about. I think this is going to do it for Florida. They are the best team in hockey. I can't imagine things slowing down, and Carolina just about done. The WNBA, Indiana will be without Caitlin Clark. They're -4.5 over the Washington Mystics. That's going to be a 6:30 tip. And that funny sport called tennis played on slippery surfaces is going on in the French Open if you care about such things. Okay, we've got just enough time to rehash a very important conversation made earlier this morning. If you played a part in this show today, if you missed any of the beginning, we had a very important discussion as the show began regarding the use of your hazard lights in driving rain. I am of the mind, don't.
Rain that you can't see.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Don't use your hazard lights if you're just driving down the road. We can already see you. You don't need to do it. I was in the minority. I just want to see what the rest of this fair city believes to be a safe mode to get yourself through bad traffic.
Mind you, I'm thinking in the right lane, not in the middle, not in the left, not in the far left, driving the hazards. That's wrong.
I will agree with you.
On the far right lane, as I'm trying to find a way to stop, but I'm still moving.
But no, you're right. And you have told me I am in peril. I am in hazard. I'm trying to get off the road. I get it. If you're driving down the center lane, doing at least the speed that everybody else is, and maybe even more, and your hazards are on, turn them off. Yeah. You are a hazard.
Right. Unless you're having a baby in the car.
Right. Unless you're headed to the hospital. At that point, if you have your hazards on and you go past an exit, you're a hazard. You're the problem.
Right.
I explained that I did not teach driver's ed to my kids. I barely passed it myself.
I just turn on the hazards if I can't see in front of me.
Because
if I can't see in front of me, you can't see me because I can't see you.
But I can see you, and I came over the hill today on 410, and there were like 15 cars in every lane. Everybody with their hazards.
How is it that if I can't see you, but you're telling me you can see me? How is that possible?
Because my headlights shine off the many reflective surfaces of your car.
But but the rain is blocking
that.
But
the light still penetrates the water. It's still I can still see the reflection, and your tail lights are on. And here's the other thing. Because you have your hazards on, it's hard for me sometimes to discern whether you've put on your brakes. So if you don't have your hazards on and you put on your brakes, I can tell immediately his brakes are on, slow down.
Right.
That conversation and many others will be prolonged as A.J. Hoffman and all of his singing abilities arise back again.
No, it doesn't rain in Arizona.
Never. He doesn't have to worry about that no more. We got a full show in stock. Thanks for hanging with us. The Blitz coming at 2. Y'all have a good one.
You're locked on.